Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you fine folks around the world and local, of course. What's going on, everyone? Good to see everybody out there at the round table. Make sure this thing's working. We have audio. We are good. What's going on, everyone? And how's everybody been? Oh, yeah, there he is. Oh, yeah. What's up? Let me see. All right. That's about right. Audio sound all right to everybody there? All right. Yep. Me, all the usual suspects. What's happening, everyone? Alrighty. Josty, I am doing fine. I hope you're well as well. Oh, yeah, everybody's in there tonight. Let's see. Renee's in there. Mimi, Josh D, Arts and Crafts. Let's see. Richie Six is in there. John Beck. Oh, yeah. Daniel Lee's in there. Good evening. I hope everyone is okay. Hi, Chris. Hope you had a good week. Well, busy week, but yeah. Try to get that third one knocked out this week, but that didn't happen. But still, nonetheless, got one of each out, right? Got some cool stuff coming up for you guys, too. This is neat. You will love these. That's for sure. John McDonald's in there. Let's... Oh, things jumped on me here. I love that when that happens. John Pollitt's in there. Northern West. Well, man, that sucks. Yeah, we had some rainy weather yesterday. Said hello from the rainy Northwest UK. Hope everyone is well. Or at least dry, right? Let's see. I appreciate it there, Richie Six. He said, respect, Chris. Thanks, buddy, for all your great work. I do appreciate it. Mazda 2nd Genesis is in there. You God's in there. Oh, that's not good. Said, Your Highness is no more. Got hacked. Yeah, that's never a good thing. Yeah, it sucks. Blue Sky's in there. What's going on, Blue Sky? Tony Gibbs is in there. Ricardo Petrazzi. What's going on, Ricardo? Pete Ferrero's in there. Mr. Sparkle Bake is in there. What's going on? Puff, puff, pass. Just remember. Claire Mead's in there. How you doing, Claire? Great for all. What's going on, Great for all? Good to see you in there. Hello, everyone. Let's hang out. Oh, yeah. Will Strong Navastar. What's happening? No spiral for me. Oh, darn. I hate what this thing does. Alan Keene, what's happening? He said, love your moon vids. Great work. Appreciate it, Alan. I got another cool one coming up. Oh, this is awesome. That and a Viking mission. It was a panorama somebody put together. Wait until you see this. At first, I thought I was seeing things. I'm saying, well, maybe it's compression artifacts. I mean, let's just zoom way out, shall we? And I zoom way out, use my magnifier. I said, nope, definitely not compression artifacts because it's nowhere else in the photo. Or parts of the photo because it is a pan, right? Hello from Kosovo. Cameron, what's going on? So how are you, Chris? I'm doing well, Cameron. What's going on? Anything good? Glenn Marsh is in there. He says, hi, everyone. Good to be here. Love the live chat. Yeah, you got to love it, man. It's just awesome. Alan, you said you are the best, mate. Honestly, well, I don't know about the best, but we try, right? Just bring out the stuff and see what we can analyze, see what we can pull out of these photos, and that's what it's all about. And that's something I enjoy doing. And I know a lot of you folks like doing the same thing. You like pulling these things apart and seeing it for yourself. And that's what it's all about, right? To not so much confirm, but maybe you look at it and go, I'm actually seeing what he's seeing. Or, no, I'm seeing it a little differently. Doesn't matter. As far as I'm concerned, it's like pull the photos apart, and if there's anything anomalous in it, pull it out. I tell you what I think it is, and then we just go from there. And, you know, some people disagree. Some people agree. It's the way it is. That's That's just the way we do it. We roll here. Just let everybody find out for themselves, come to their own conclusions, right? Oh, let's see. All right, Mars the Second Genesis, talking to Mimi, says he's going to show some real structures or Martian structures that you will not believe. Awesome. Hell, I'll be checking those out. It says in 3D, X3D as well. So, awesome. More people do this, the more it gets out. That's the way I look at it. Bring out the work. I don't care if it's about the moon. I don't care if it's about Mars. I don't care if it's about anything else. Even if it's right here on Earth, right? That's what it's all about. Get it out in the mainstream, or at least to a lot of folks you can, right? That's why it's important to share a lot of the stuff, you know. What's going on there, Rockheads? Good to see you in there. Let's see. Yeah, I was just going up here a little bit. Linda Evans, I'm sorry. Evans is in there. Says, hey, from Rome, Georgia. All right, what's happening? How you doing there, Linda? I was just watching, just reading, rather, what Mars the Second Genesis was talking to Mimi about the, did you honestly think these bastards would give us mere mortals any info? So I'm assuming you're talking about the UAP report. And, yeah, I read that. It's basically nothing confirms anything, right? It's just like, it's so vague. Well, you know, there could be a threat to our national security, you know, so on and so forth. You know, it's like they're just tiptoeing around everything, right? They can't confirm or deny whether it's ours. Some of the things are, and I'll read it to you. I got the thing right here. I just thought that was really funny because the way they word it, you know, it could be an error in the equipment and everything else. And, it's just, it goes on and on. And, you know, you can't help but to think it's like, just say swamp gas. Wouldn't it be just easy just to say that? I mean, they cover it up like that with everything else. Why not, right? So I always thought that was funny. Yeah, Mimi, I was just talking about it because I just scrolled down just a hair bit more, and you said that, Chris, your opinion on the Pentagon UFO report. I don't know. I just think it's... wow. Let me see here. Right here. I mean, I'm just looking at this and part of this, and this is, of course, it's the 9-page PDF piece of trash. Let me see. What does it say? I love this. In a limited number of incidents, UAP reportedly appeared to exhibit unusual flight characteristics. Okay, just keep that in mind. So, in other words, they're observing whether it's by the eye or through camera, whatever it may be, right? These observations could be the result of sensor errors, spoofing, or observer misperception, and require additional rigorous analysis. Wait a minute. So we have fools using faulty equipment now? I mean, come on. These guys are military. Most of these people are military that they've seen. So now the top-notch technical, high-tech equipment could be sensor errors, could be anything. We don't know, guys. Maybe it's just swamp gas and right in front of the camera. We don't know. Come on. I mean, you know, when then this is just on page 3 for crying out loud, and I'm looking at this thing going, yeah, I mean, they're not... It's like they're like dismissing it, but they're not, right? It's like they don't want to just throw it away now and say, well, it's just a bunch of crap. Kind of like the when they had this parts from the Roswell crash saying, oh, yeah, look at this parts right here. And then, oh, it's a balloon. I mean, they even say this in here, too. They say it could be like we found that some of these things were like deflating balloons. I'm going, wow. You know, it makes you wonder how the hell these guys could do stuff like that. I just thought that was amusing. Have you guys read the rest of this thing? I mean, it's only 9 pages, right? I mean... Yeah, exactly, Josh D. You said the idiots only took cases from 2014 and beyond. Well, and that's the thing. It's like they did it up to this point, right? What about all the ones back in the day, man? Seriously? Wow. I looked at that thing and I said, you know, they've got to be kidding. And I'm reading this thing and I'm just kind of like, what? The unlimited amount of high-quality reporting on identified aerial phenomenon, UAP, hampers our ability to draw confirmed conclusions about the nature or intent of the UAP. So they must think it's terrestrial, made here on Earth. But they're not ruling out extraterrestrial, meaning outside of Earth. So they're not taking a side either way. All they are saying is that they could be, right here, UAP clearly pose a safety and flight issue and may pose a challenge to U.S. national security. What do you mean U.S.? There's no other country being, like, seeing these UFOs? Of course there are. But yet, oh, let's worry about us. Yeah, exactly, Alan. You know, we're being drip-fed. Yeah, I mean, it's like I like the idea that this report came out because it's a start, right? Now, whether it's vague as hell really doesn't matter. Well, it does, because we'd all like to have the truth, but at least they came out with it to begin with, right? And it's a first step. It's a small step, but at least they're coming out with it. So I kind of like the idea of seeing the report come out, but it's not telling anything new, right? What are we seeing here new, guys? Did we see anything at all? Yeah, very slowly, Alan. Yeah. What's going on, Adam the Martian, the architect of Mars? Hi, everybody. Hi, Martians. Hi, Chris. What's going on, Adam? Good to see you in there. It's just, yeah, I don't know. You know, I'm reading this piece of trash. And again, I'm glad that they've done it. Don't get me wrong. Because, again, yeah, I mean, at least they're trying to get it out. It's kind of like, it's almost like the test in the waters. Let's see how much we can let out before people start freaking out, right? And to me, I don't think anybody would. Clearly, it's in the news, so people are aware of it. Now, I don't know of anybody who's hiding under their bed thinking that, oh my God, we're going to be attacked. I don't know anybody like that. Here's that part I was telling you about. After carefully considering this information, the UAPTF, which is what do you call it there? The Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, I believe it is. Yeah, focused on reports that involved UAP largely witnessed firsthand by military aviators and that were collected from systems we considered to be reliable. Now, earlier it said, oh, it could have been errors, this, that. Anyway, these reports describe incidents that occurred between 2004 and 2021, with the majority coming in the last 2 years as the newly reporting mechanism became better known as military aviation community, or to the aviation community. We were able to identify one reported UAP with high confidence. In that case, we identified the object as a large deflating balloon. The others remained unexplained. 144 reports originated from USG sources with multiple sensors. Of these, 80 reports involved observation, and then what it says with multiple sensors because it's right underneath. But most reports describe UAP as objects that interrupted pre-planned training or other military activity. So are we seeing the same thing we saw before, way back in the day when they talked about these UFOs over missile silos and Air Force bases or any kind of military bases? Is that what we're seeing here, folks? I mean, what's the deal here, right? What's going on there, Mark Lewis? It says, hello from Wales. What's going on? Great for all you said. Are we still years away from full disclosure? I don't know about years away, but it's getting there. It's almost like I said, I get the feeling that they're trying to test the waters. They're like, we're not sure if it's ours, meaning here on Earth, somebody's on Earth, or somebody else's, we're not sure. You know, it's almost like if it is from here, another country just, decided to invade our airspace, meaning the United States, just to keep everybody busy. Like, now you're focused on that. Every time you turn around something else, I'm hoping it's something more than that, meaning I believe a lot of those could be ours, military or otherwise, right? And depending how you look at it, if it's something from outside of Earth. I don't know. I don't think anybody here would be freaked out, and I don't think anybody that we know, even though, like a lot of you guys have said that you talk to your, whether it be neighbors, your friends, and everything. If you talk about certain photos, which incidentally, I got a couple of my faves here you guys have seen before. I just happened to be going through photos looking for another one. I found these. I'm going to show it to you again. One was a moon, one is from Spirit. And you guys have seen it before, but I just figured I'd show it again for anybody who's new on here. But I don't know. You can show your neighbors, like I said, your friends, family, doesn't matter. You may show them the photos and yeah, well, that's cool. Yeah, I see that. And some don't, right? But I don't know. I just find it odd that, I don't know of anybody that would probably freak out if they said, these are not from here. Do you know anybody that would do that? They might go, really? Wow, that's pretty interesting. I wonder where they're from. But I don't know anybody that would freak out from it. Maybe back in the 40s, perhaps. Not now. I don't believe so. Right, blue sky, exactly. You're talking about the Drake equation and the Fermi paradox. And like I said, he said very smart mathematicians have figured out if there's ET life, figured if there's ET life out there, and how much, like the Drake equation, the Fermi paradox. And that's true. They did a calculation of what they can see in the sky, or with a telescope, and done some calculations, crunched some numbers, and found out there's, I forget what it was. I forgot how many, there's like 1 million something that could have planets that are alive. In fact, what was it? The NASA administrator said, you can see it right here, where he talks, it says, NASA administrator, are we alone? They asked him, and he said, personally, I don't think we are. No kidding. But he talks about, like we do, like he talks about, like, it's just crazy how we can look out at the sky or through the Hubble or whatever and see the stars and just everything in the universe and say, yeah, we're alone. And he doesn't believe that either, but he was discussing that, saying, yeah, with all of the planets and stars and everything else out there, you know, I don't feel it that we are alone. And I'm surprised. And then I was reading some other Neil deGrasse Tyson where he was talking about he's not saying he doesn't believe in UFOs, but he does say, listen, I believe there has to be a lot more solid evidence. Now, I agree with him because remember we were talking about the photos, how they were saying, you know, when I looked at them, they're either infrared, you know, night vision, whatever. It's never anything super clear. And that's what I find just really weird, right? I would rather see something that's, you know, a lot clearer. Would they share it with us? Because think about it. If they shared it with you, would you see if it was something that looks like it's man-made as opposed to something that isn't? So, in other words, clunky, riveted kind of junk put together. I don't know. And maybe that's why they're kind of blurring them, putting them in a different spectrum. Who knows? But to me, unless I see something clear, I'm not going to believe that. Yeah, exactly, Grateful. He said, when NASA speak, my guard goes up. Yeah. What's going on, Sean? Michael Murtis, what's going on? So how about the virus-infected drown? Not sure if I'm reading that. Or if you typed that in right. Yeah, Wilstrom Navastar, you said, I think that we are looking at USOs more than UFO is just as USOs. Well, that could be too, right? I mean, they can call it whatever they want. They're still unidentified flying objects as far as I'm concerned, because here's the thing. I don't care if they come out of the water. I don't care if they're coming out of our mountains somewhere desolate on Earth, or they're coming from outside of our Earth. They're still UFOs. They're unidentified. You know, NASA wants to change it around and say, ooh, unidentified aerial phenomenon. What the hell's the difference, man? I mean, come on. To me, it's the same thing. They're unidentified, so therefore we don't know what they are. So again, they're unidentified. So I don't know. There you go, Mimi. You said I'm considering buying a telescope and watching the night sky. Maybe I've seen a UFO. Well, not a whole lot of people just look up, period, right? So, you know, like P&K imaging, when they do it, because they do a live feeds of the moon all the time. I mean, literally just stare at the moon, zoom in and everything else, and do a great job. And every once in a while, you see something going, you see something flying by, and they look at it quite a bit, right? So I like watching that channel. It's pretty good. Pretty good stuff there. Well, Strong, you said, I think some are spirit orbs as well as, like plasma. Well, that could be. Because, you know, it's kind of like that ball lightning, right? It's just kind of, it's weird to actually see it, but it does occur. Not all the time, very rarely, but it's the way, I guess, it crashes into the ground and kind of rolls like a ball type thing. But, yeah. Oops. What was that one there saying? Alan, you said, what are NASA going to do? They say they're using Elon Musk to get back to the moon. We have 4K video now, so they can't surely hide it. Well, it depends. Again, Elon, he's, you know, you look up to the guy, he's an entrepreneur, the guy's brilliant, the whole 9 yards, and yet he's like, well, I'm not so sure about UFOs. What is going on with these guys? Neil deGrasse, he's astrophysicist, and yet you lose respect for somebody like that when he's saying, it can't possibly be aliens. And he laughs it off and shrugs it off. Seriously? You of all people, he's the one that says we're star stuff, we're carbon-based life forms, carbon spread throughout the universe, so on and so forth. Don't get me wrong. It takes more than just that. But it's not the point. But this is the guy, all of a sudden, he's closed-minded like a Venus flytrap. And yet, Elon's just saying, he kind of snickers it off. And it's like, wait a minute. You do realize the government just let these out. Remember the first time the government, the Pentagon, let out some of these videos. And he's like, how do you do that? Just like shrug it off. Him of all people. He's in the know. Come on. Like I said, he's now working either subcontracted or partnered with NASA. And he knows just about anything. Come on, guys. Just tell me the truth. What's up? They probably has, all right, well, as long as here's a sign, a no gag, just a gag order type thing, don't say anything, so on and so forth. I don't believe that for a minute that he doesn't know what's going on and what's up there. And the same thing with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Liam, I guess it's called. Stuart Brown, I think that's your name. Hi, Chris, UK listening in here. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Wave a big old hand to you over there over the big pond. Rocket, you said Dr. Stephen, no, I keep saying Stephen. Stephen Greer. He knows a lot about UFOs. Yeah, I mean, again, I like Stephen Greer. I think they like to embellish a lot. And I'm not so sure he's like, he may be doing that, kind of like, how like they're like using the mind concentrating and everything else and kind of calling them, so to speak. I think it's a good possibility if they're more on the, meaning using the mind as opposed to speech, where like ESP, stuff like that, that they can be like called. I don't know if I want to call called into existence, right? But I think it's kind of cool in a sense and kind of weird at the same time. I'm not so sure I believe all that. But interesting to say the least, right? Tony said, I don't doubt that UFOs exist, but the distances in conventional ways of travel. Yeah, I mean, well, as we know it, if we were to try to travel from here to Saturn, we'd probably die before we got there. And I'm talking about a manned craft, right? But if you've got anti-gravitics down pat, you got everything down, whatever it takes that they can put like a force field and, whatever. I mean, you wouldn't even be phased by the speed, and it's just gone. It can navigate through the solar system and around objects in the solar system, outer solar system, just kind of like our cars are doing now. They're just self-piloting. Only on a lot quicker, level. Like it's already mapped out. They already know their universe, so they can pretty much fly through anywhere and not have to worry about crashing into anything, right? It's kind of maybe that on a larger, more sophisticated kind of thing compared to what we have here in our cars that are coming out. So I believe that could be the case, right? Adam the Martian, you said our moon may be a satellite, or was a satellite, of a planet located in an asteroid belt called Maldek or Tiamat. Yeah, well, I've heard that story myself, and again, we've had ancient, text and stories about how there was a time before the moon and everything else, and that some people believe it was towed here because it was like here, and then, well, it wasn't here, and then all of a sudden it was here. So, is that true? I don't know. They found it important to write about it. So, is that true? I don't know. I wasn't there. But you tend to believe them, not 100%, but it would be interesting to actually know that. It's too bad we couldn't actually travel ourselves, or can we? But I think we can. And what do you guys think? You think they have the technology, the government has the technology to at least, fly to, oops, okay, I put that down. I wonder what that was doing on the screen. I mean, I personally believe that they can actually fly to Mars with no problem within hours, as opposed to months, right? Before it was like 9 months, now it's down to like 7 months, right? I believe they could do it a lot quicker. And I believe they have the technology, because here's the thing. If they have, let's say these flying UFOs, let's say they're our technology. Can you imagine if it was a Tic Tac UFO is ours? Look at the maneuverability that thing does. Are you kidding me? I mean, they can literally, it's just there. I mean, you see how it went from one point to another. They said, sure, it's back at its origin, because remember, it was in a certain spot. It kept flying around, and then he went down to, and he kind of circled around with the jet and came back and found it. And then all of a sudden, it was just a blink of an eye, it was gone. And then the guys over there, back where it started, where they seen it, and they said, sir, it's back over here. It's like, what are you talking about? So it's weird how this thing actually just jumps the way it does. If it's ours, then we can probably get to Mars in like a couple hours, few hours. I mean, just go. If you think about it, once you get this anti-gravitics, and once you've got this outrageous or futuristic or high technology propulsion, you know, if you want to call it propulsion, because it's something that pushes you forward. If you've got that, then, and there's no resistance out in space because we don't have air, right? So you can get there within hours as opposed to months. So, yeah, I believe we have the technology. What do you folks think? Josh D said about 50 of you need to hit the freaking like button. Yeah, guys, just go ahead and slam it down. Bam. If you don't mind. TNT 87, 1998. Carl Sagan sold out to him years ago. Yeah, another one. It's a guy you looked up to. The guy was awesome. He always put, things to do with space or any of that sort into layman's terms. So that's why everybody liked Carl Sagan. I was a big fan of myself. And, yeah, I mean, these guys knew this stuff. They have. And they were probably perfectly content by going, hey, listen, I'm in the know, so I don't care. That's all I care about. As long as I know what's going on, that's all that matters to me. So I think that's kind of wild. And if you remember correctly, I don't believe he believed in God. Now, I don't want to get into religion and stuff like that, but here's the thing. What if, he's thinking in that kind of sense, saying, once I've seen what's out there, meaning on the moon, Mars, and of course, probably exosolar system, probably seen photos of ungodly things, things that you and I would just like totally, our heads would blow off our body if we seen it, right? He's probably thinking, you know what? It doesn't matter at this point. Look at, if he believes he can go out and go back into energy, like I believe he can probably do, once you pass on and stuff like that, and you go out as energy. Because that's the way you pretty much are. Your body's electrical and everything else, and it's just energy, and you're basically in an avatar right now. And but your spirit lives on through, like I said, you're just energy, and you go back out into the universe. He's probably thinking, you know what? I've seen enough to believe whether I believe in God or not doesn't matter. I mean, what would you guys do if you had that kind of job where you can literally just see everything and nothing's held back from you, and you can see it all, like true stuff, true photos, non-messed with photos, so on and so on. How would you react to that? That's crazy. I mean, you'd be like, wow, I've seen enough of my lifetime that, if I drop dead tomorrow, that's fine with me. I mean, yeah. Blue Sky said, with the distance and time, it could be billions of years ago, an advanced race likely placed our moon for unknown reason. The odds of being random is astronomical. No pun intended. Michael Murdas, you said that tells me they're not in control. Unless the only thing I can think of is two things. One, like you're saying, they don't know whose it is, and they just believe, oh my God, we're not in control. Kind of like, what was it, back in the 50s where they had, it was either 40s or 50s, where there was like 20 of these UFOs flying around the state capitol, right? So, think about this a minute. The government, or the government's like, trying to figure out what these are and all this other crap. And the civilians are looking at it going, your government, you can stop that, right? You can stop these things. What happens if they see, okay, you're weak and these things could be a lot stronger? That's when fear comes into place. That's when people start going, oh my God, can our government protect us from these things? If not, there's where your panic comes from. So, but if they are ours, and maybe they were flying around as a test, and they went, oh, crap, people have seen these things now. Now we got to come up with some kind of BS story. Yeah, they could be somebody else's. We're not sure who they are, and they're just trying to cover up their own tracks. But like I said, is it possible now they'll continue to see them? They'll go, well, we still don't know whose they are. Maybe the story will drop off and you never hear another word about it. Maybe little reports here and there. But think about it. Again, I said this before in a couple of these live feeds. I said, if I was the government or I was the people making these things, and I am the military, who's probably making these, probably the DOD, think about it. If I say that, oh, I don't know where these things come from, here's the thing. I can go anywhere on Earth and spy on anybody. They won't know it's me, my country, doing it. So whether it's somebody here on Earth, whether it's Japan, China, Russia, it doesn't really matter. They get to say, oh, by the way, we don't know whose it is, but yeah, it's in my night sky too, and it's in yours, and it's over here. Everybody can claim they see it, and then I can go anywhere I want. It's random. I can go anywhere, spy on you, nobody have a clue. Because they can't point the finger at whose it is. Perfect. Think about it. So, yeah, I'm still 50-50 on the fence whether it's ours or out there. I don't know. Or both. Right? Robert Johnson said, Chris, the objects I see would give you a heart attack. They'd have to be something really serious because I've seen just the stuff I've seen on the moon alone would probably freak some people out. Whether these mile-high structures, which I have that photo, I got a side-by-side. I'm going to show you guys. If you haven't seen it. I know you guys have seen it. Most of you have. But that and then the other one I got from the Spirit rover, it's a panorama. And I'll give you guys the PIA number so you can look it up yourself. In fact, I'll show you the actual the pan, and then what I'll do is I'll zoom into. I'll show you the zoom in. But I've seen some crazy things on the moon, folks. I mean, absolutely astounding. And the new moon video I got coming out, everybody seems to like them here. So I think I'm going to start dropping more moon here. What do you guys think? More moon videos here on Mars Anomalies? It is Mars Anomalies and beyond, right? So we can pretty much post anything on there. So, and I know other moon channels loved when I put it on there. Wink, wink. So we'll do it a lot more. How's that? And the funny thing about it is, and like I said, when I seen these photos for the first time, started taking them apart, boom. Oh my God. There's not a whole lot that I can see that would freak me out. Especially the structures and the sheer size of these things on the moon. And then some things that look like we have here on Earth that are on Mars. And it's weird. I mean, yeah, it would take an awful lot to freak me out. Elaine M. He said, I'm cooking supper since I've lost 3 hours somewhere. It was 7:30 and lasted so. Now it's 10:12. Missing time, LOL. So mainly listening to Anomalies. We'll join in the chat more once supper's done. Be right back. Yeah, enjoy your supper, Elaine. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just watch out you're not being abducted. We hate to see that happen. Yeah, let me see. Oh, yeah, TNT 87, yep. He said, watch Apollo 11 interview when Neil elbows Mike Collins when he mentioned he couldn't see any stars up in the orbiter. You'll be glad you did. Oh, no, I mean, I've seen a lot of those. And we were talking about the press conference they had after the fact. And I've always said that, for people who made, like, the first step for mankind, they look like they lost their parents in a car crash. And I found it interesting because they even talked about the stars then. He goes, so, the press conference, the people were asking him, so how many did you see the stars? And I'm going, stars? They're looking at each other, stars? And the guy, I didn't notice the stars. Why would they notice the stars? They're not up there to look at the stars. They're up there to look at either desolate spacecraft or structures or something. Why would they be looking at, I'd be going, stars? Why do I give a crap about the stars? There's nothing would get my eyes off what's on the surface of that moon when I'm sent there to do it. And it's not about rocks and dust either. That's a bunch of crap. That was the PR move. Let's bring back a little briefcase full of rocks and dust. No, that wasn't the case. I can almost promise you that because of the stuff we've seen on the moon. You know they didn't go, yeah, we see the structures, so therefore we're just going to avoid those and just get some of this rocks and dust, and maybe do a couple soil samples or drill a couple samples, right? No, that didn't happen. They were up there for something much more than that. So would you guys recognize any stars if you sent there and the second you're flying there and you land? The first thing you think of is, okay, we're in the spot we need to be. We just have to walk a little bit, and oh my God, there they are. Why would you be going, oh, yeah, you're right. Look at the stars. Nah, never mind that spacecraft. Look at that. What do you think of the stars right there? Nobody does that. Come on now. Come on. Nobody's going to do that. Kenneth, yeah, exactly. You said, I have heard Black Knight is an unidentified object that orbits the Earth. Some conspiracy theorists claim that it has extraterrestrial origin. Maybe they're keeping it an eye on us. Well, that's what they said. They said it's X amount of thousands of years old. I don't know if it was like 36,000. I don't know how they come up with those numbers. But I've actually covered that as well. And a buddy of mine, Billy Carson's actually coming out with that, where we made like a small documentary about that. And, they try to pass it off as the thermal blanket from an STS mission. And it's not true. The photos that they have are, in fact, of the blanket. There's no doubt about it. But they caught something else in the photo that they weren't supposed to catch, or weren't supposed to actually view. Somehow it came into view, and now they're trying to play it off as the blanket. So, and it's not, because I've actually highlighted that and everything else and brought it out, and it's not. So, clearly it's much more than that now. How old they come up with that age of that thing, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Nikola Tesla supposedly was listening out there with his radio and supposedly heard voices or something like that, like something communicating out there. And keep in mind, we had no satellites back in the day, so he wasn't sure if he was listening to something outside of just outside of Earth, or if he was actually listening to Mars. He just wasn't sure. At least that's what he was saying. So, who knows, right? Kyle Harvey says, I'm here. And I do appreciate you, Kyle. Thank you very much for your support as always. You said we are biological robots, and they know this. We have been planted on Earth like a zoo being watched. Yeah, I mean, again, thank you again, Kyle. Appreciate you. I've heard this many a times. Even when I was younger, I was probably in my mid-20s. I remember talking to this girl, and she was just out of school. I was talking to her mom, too. They were at this flea market, and I was buying something off of them, and somehow I heard this discussion. She says, no, Mom, I think we're like a giant ant farm, like we're being watched. And, of course, I got into that conversation, and I said, that's a really, I don't think she was 15 years old, 16 years old, and she had that mentality already. She's like, I believe it's much more than that. I believe that, she says, I believe we're probably being watched. We're like this giant ant farm. And, wow, I'm going, as silly as that sounds, how do we know that's not true? Maybe the watchers on the moon, like the Egyptians call us, the watchers from above, the overseers from above. Maybe these overseers are on the moon. They put us here, and just put them in different spots of the Earth. And now let's see how they evolve. Let's see how they progress, so on and so forth. And this is the reason why you see these UFOs every now and then when we're getting this close to maybe war or heightened, friction, if you will, from between two countries or whatever it may be, that all of a sudden you see these things coming down, shutting down these military bases. They're going, no, we can't have any of that. So now, children, behave yourselves, kind of thing. I don't know. But that's a good point. Like I said, Kyle was saying, like, being like basically a zoo being watched. Could very well be. Thomas Tortorich, he said, the moon is a gold mine for minerals we need. You can bet on it. Well, like helium-3, right? A lot of photos look like the moon's had already been mined, or was being mined at some point, and then might have stopped. Now, a lot of you folks have talked about, It's like, Chris, these structures don't look ruined, and I don't believe they do either. The only thing I can think of is this: what if it was like, because we have mining areas here on Earth, right? A lot of them. And of course, they just abandoned them because either they pretty much raped the mine of anything they were digging for, and they just left the equipment there, just left it all there. They don't care. Maybe that's the same thing that happened on the moon. Maybe they were getting everything they could, and they pretty much got everything out of that area or wherever they could, and then said, okay, we're good. Let's go. And they took off, left it there. Or, like some of the ancient civilizations have read or wrote about, and we've read about after, is that there was a war on the moon. Is it possible that was the case? And they fled, or just they were just done with it and took off. Some say, well, I believe there's still life on the moon. Now, you guys have asked this question too. How are they allowing us to go to the moon? So my only thing I can think about is that, just reading this up here, officials give update on the collapse of the Florida condo and building. Yeah, it was pretty sad. So the only thing I can think of is, did they get permission? I don't know. Are they still there, and would they allow us to go up there and mine too? Or is it completely abandoned now? And maybe only some small parts have, like they go underground, these UFOs, and they just say, listen, you can have at it with the rest of the place. We don't care. Because these are not our equipment, our stuff. Just leave us alone. Or it's completely abandoned now, the moon, and every now and then you see something flying around it, but that's pretty much it. How do we know it's not us? That we've had a base on the moon since the 50s or 60s. How do we know? I believe we do, to be honest with you. It's just my personal opinion. I believe we already do. Gabrielle, yep, Truman Show. Remember that? He just realized he's like in this like dome type thing on a structure. Yeah. Kyle says, it's the truth. I am a master carpenter, and I'm telling you, those anomalies on the moon and Mars are not natural. I repeat, not natural. Oh, I totally agree with you. I don't think anybody disagrees with you at all on that, Kyle. Definitely not. What's going on, Ken K? He said, hi, Chris. What's going on, Ken? Robert Johnson, I don't know if you had a different part of the paragraph, but he said it was a blackbird, and it was about to make contact with neighbor's roof, and it vanished. It was silent. It looked like it had too many feathers for its size when it moved its wings. Interesting. So do you believe that was like a natural bird, or do you believe it was something else? Kyle, I like that. Do you know how NASA has their name tags? Well, I have a hard hat. Pretty much, right? Thomas, you said Linda Moulton Howe is positive we were genetically manipulated. Well, I mean, if she's probably reading off of the ancient texts where, like the ancient Sumerians, where they talked about how the Anunnaki came here and changed our DNA at one time. At least that's in their writings. Now, they claim that they came here. They needed to mine Earth for gold so they could take the gold back to their planet Nibiru, and to line their atmosphere, just put like this dust in their atmosphere to protect their protect the life on that planet when it comes, because it's supposedly, I believe it's a 3,600 year elliptical orbit into our solar system around our sun and back out. So are they using it to insulate, meaning when there are cold areas and it holds the heat in, or is it, and is it to protect and kind of repel the heat when it's close to our sun? And if it's way out there in an elliptical, does it go into another solar system and come back out of theirs? I don't know. I'm just saying. But that's what, she's going by that. That's probably where she's getting that from, because our ancient ancestors wrote about that, rather. So it's a very good possibility, because I know a lot of scientists said, yeah, we went from leaps and bounds to like, using chisels or rocks, clanging them together, to all of a sudden we're like building extravagant stuff. Now, we did start off crudely, like when they were talking about first cars, of course you got horse and buggy and all that other stuff, and then we got up to cars and stuff like that. Which reminds me, I was just watching a video on the new Tesla Plaid The car's insane. But it was funny because I read one of the comments. The guy says, well, these electric cars, man, they're all coming out now. And, of course, I think he's one of these haters, is more for ICE, the internal combustion engine, where he was like, oh, yeah, well, just because they're just coming out with these now. No, they haven't. They've been out since 1893 or 92. And then they went to steam and then so on and so forth, right? But, yeah, I mean, it's like the scientists are saying our minds jump leaps and bounds. And it's still doing that to this day. So, and our minds are getting bigger and stuff like that. So, who knows, right? But again, I mean, a lot of these people have been out there so long, they're making books and everything else and embellishing and everything else. And I like Linda. She's pretty good. I mean, I like her work and stuff like that. And even Stephen Gray I like, but you got to look out. I mean, a lot of times they try to go over the top because you notice every year they come up with something new. It's like something else extra, little something extra to keep you on the line kind of thing, right? So now if it's real information, I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? If it's just kind of like a revamped version of what they have already talked about, you know what I mean? Steve Garnham, you said those who created us are watching us. Well, that would be my thinking. Okay, Robert, you said we're outstretched and not moving, not flapping. Interesting, yeah. So that's a pretty darn big friggin' craft. I mean, a lot of people have said that where they see something going over their house and they see like a darker shadow that's like literally blacking out the stars and they're like, and they see it move and they don't know what the heck it is, right? And it's either just takes off very quickly or just vanishes, right? Real interesting. Kyle, you said that's why they mutilate cows. Yeah, I mean, remember that back in the day when we first heard about that, they said they were taking like the organs and stuff like that, where they were talking about, they'd cut like into the jaw. There's no blood at all, man. It's like laser precision, taking out the reproduction organs, rather. Whether it be the heart too, some of the intestines. They were just taking all certain, just weird, man. But none of it had any blood at all. Or, meaning it didn't come out of it. And then some of them were completely void of any blood at all. Really weird stuff. Max K, good to see you in there. Thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. You said, thanks for the great post. Keep me sane. Yeah, I think we all need that, don't we? Need to get away. I don't know about you guys, but man, at the end of the week, I'm like spent, right? And I'm like, ugh. Because it's like the same old, mundane kind of thing, right? Work back, just like, and, and then, of course, I do these videos, so I'm like, okay. You really don't get a whole lot of time off. So, just being here on a Friday, it's like you get to unwind and talk to everybody, and everybody talks to each other, so on and so forth. So it's cool. So, yeah, I agree with you, Mags. And again, thank you very much. Appreciate you. TNT 87, monitoring food supply. That's not good. Blue Sky, when they have audio recordings of dead people. That's, yeah. Thomas, you said, I like your analysis of being genetically manipulated. Well, I mean, that's what I've read too, because I like a lot of the ancient civilization stuff and things like Pumapunku, the way these things are designed, the blocks, like the in-depth, like three-dimensional and just weird, perfectly cut stones and everything else. And these go back thousands of years. And, a lot of the scientists and stuff like that go, how are they doing this with like chisels? Simple chisels and stones, and even if they had a little bit more, better tools, how are they doing this? Right? It's just crazy. So I like that. I like the idea that a lot of stuff is actually being exposed now and brought out more, because were these ancients full of crap, or did they actually write about something that's very true in what they've seen themselves? I believe that's the case. Again, it's not like they were watching TV going, yeah, we got all kinds of things to watch. No, they're literally sitting around talking amongst themselves. So if anything come out of the sky or anything that was just totally bizarre to them, they're going to have this paramount importance to want to write, etch, do whatever, and make a record of it. and they have their own way of doing it, whether it's Sanskrit, whatever it may be. They had their own way of doing it. So absolutely, I believe, a lot of the ancient writings, now where some of them, there's talk about how they might have been, misread, misinterpreted. And it's a possibility, right? So it would probably take away from some of them stories, but I don't believe all. I believe a lot of that stuff is absolutely true. And again, if you and I were just sitting around, look what we have. We got computers, TV. We can, watch Netflix. We can do just about anything, right? We can entertain ourselves. Back then you couldn't. What do you entertain yourself with? They go do some farming. I mean, what did you have? So if anything really, just the smallest thing happened, they were just like, wow. Again, if they seen a flying saucer come out of the sky and people that look like them come out of it, I would assume, if I was back then, I would say these people are supreme beings to me. They have a gift of flight. Therefore, they're my gods. And maybe that's what they've seen, and that's what we considered our gods. I don't know. But I know I would probably be pretty freaked out, and I'd probably bow down to it too, because it's like I've never seen anything like that other than a bird flying in the sky. Suddenly I see this metallic whatever it is, like we were talking about last live feed. They're saying, well, they didn't know how to explain it, so they call it like a chariot, with fire coming out of it, and so on and so forth. What were they talking about? A flying chariot? Really? They didn't know to call it a UFO or spacecraft or any of that sort. So it made sense that they'd try to come up with anything that would best describe what they thought back in the day to be a UFO. Makes sense. Oops. Sarah Muzak says, smash the thumbs up, folks. Smash it. Smash it good. Robert Ash, you say, hey, Chris and the gang, good to be here. Friday. Absolutely, Robert. Good to have you in there, brother. Tony, you're right. You said there are past events that we are slowly becoming aware of due to the precision and size of the work. Well, like we're talking about Pumapunku, we're talking about the Egyptian pyramids, just all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And you're going, how do these people build this stuff so intricate? Again, how many times have you seen that where they take a razor blade and they're trying to put it between the blocks, and like the giant, the Pyramid of Giza, you can't even slide a razor blade between them things. And they're shiny, they're true. They're inside one of these, they were burials, right? Supposed to be burial chambers. Take a 90-degree angle, boom, completely straight. And after thousands upon thousands of years. Now, this thing of the great weight this thing has, you'd think it would kind of settle into the ground. Maybe the blocks would move slightly. That's not the case. Now, the outer case stones have been taken to build the towns and everything around there, but they believe there's like a sandstone, like a yellowish rock on the outside. It was completely smooth at one point. So, yeah, just neat, right? Good morning, Frack. Good to see you in there. Frack Centurion is in the house. Mimi actually said there have to be written records about it. You almost guarantee it. Exactly, Tony. So remember the Wicker airplanes, the South Seas natives built, and that's what we were talking about, right? There was native that lived on a small island, and of course the army was there during World War II, where they were just having, basically it was a base there. They built a base, and of course they would, let these natives know that they weren't, hostile and weren't going to hurt them. They'd give them food and stuff like that to help them eat and everything else. And of course, once they left, they became like a cargo cult. And what they did was, like I said, they built like you're saying, like the Wicker airplanes, like out of bamboo, and they made like this small runway, and it shows the little like Wicker or whatever it was plane on this little runway they made. So they basically worshipped us because they've never seen anything like it until we got there. So the same thing would apply. Wouldn't you think, if you were one of these natives, you would think, these guys are gods. Look, they fly. They're man just like us. What are those things they got on their backs? They got clothes or whatever they are. because most of them natives didn't have stuff. They just had like these little loincloths or whatever they were. So you know for a fact that these guys worshipped us like we were like something special. Like, you know, it was just our army. It's like, yeah. What's going on there, Mike Knapp? Good to see you in there. Miss Haird's in there. What's going on, Miss Haird? Hey, Strauss 1AV, it's quite possible the Giza complex is full procession old 25. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just reading the 5 too. 26,500 years. Well, they believe it's much older than that, and they believe that the Sphinx is actually older than that. They think it's much older. They're thinking like 36,000 years as far as for the Sphinx. And as far as the pyramids, they're thinking might be around what you're saying. So I find it really interesting that, you know, didn't they say it was only like 7,000 years old, like at one point? Now look at the damn thing, right? Now they're like, well, wait a minute, it goes back a lot further than that. Because they're going by the erosion on the Sphinx too, right? Because there was once water there at one point. And so it was built, and then there's some water, then it's gone. How many years ago did that take? You know what I mean? For that to happen? Because that was, I believe that was all lush greenery and everything else in that area at one point. What's going on, Archie? You said, bonjour, Chris. What's going on? Good to see you in there. It wouldn't surprise me, Mags. You said, Chris, don't tell me they're going to get rid of anything related to UFO sightings and knock down all evidence of it, erase our history at this rate. Ridiculous. Well, the way I look at it, it's too mainstream. I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think anybody's going to let it die. Because they know better. And like I said, I know for a fact, just looking at, you know, what I've seen in a lot of these photos, and of course, just simple stuff like just looking out at the night sky, looking at these Hubble space, these photos of the universe, just small little sections, like a grain of salt worth of that, and looking out, there's this, you could just see all these solar systems, these stars, you could just see everything on. It's like, come on. No way, no how are we by ourselves. Now then again, if we are being, you know, if we are a giant ant farm and they're projecting these stars, oh my God, oh yeah. Kyle, you said the extraterrestrial spacecraft create a bubble around it so you could be drinking a cup of water and go from 0 to 600,000 miles an hour without spilling it. Well, that's the thing. You don't feel an inertia, right? It's just like, it's just gone. And, you know, it's like totally separate from motion. Now, it's kind of like I said before, it's like being in a car, right? If you're like in a Bugatti Veyron and you take off, you can just feel the G's that put you back in the seat. But if you're cruising, you slow down to about 150 miles an hour and you just stay off and you level off at 150 miles. You don't feel that. You just kind of just cruising right along until either they hit the brakes, and then of course you feel, you know, the force for that, or accelerate again. You're going to feel it throw you back in the seat. So if you could just slowly take off and then build up to that kind of speed, then you're not going to have that either. So yeah, I mean, but if you have, like, you're isolated from the outside of the craft and what's going outside the craft, yeah, you probably wouldn't even notice it at all. You'd be just like, whatever, you know, you're already gone. You know, technology, the regular humans would not understand, but I'm sure they do. Some of these military would probably know that. What's going on, Noodles? Good to see you in there. Robert Morgan, what's going on? He said, what about the Searle machine? Tesla would have a lightweight, screaming fast car. Well, yeah, probably. Most definitely. Oops. What was that? I just seen this one here. Yeah, Noodles, when you wrote that, it reminded me of hearing about this a while back when you said beyond ant farm, legend of ancient spoon craft long before saucers, ancient vessels with only one goal, to take spoonfuls of water with microbes from planet to planet, constantly, forever. Well, remember that it wasn't just, well, it was just recently, I think, but maybe 5-6 years ago, there was a big thing saying how people noticed like a lot of these lakes and stuff were disappearing. Now, is it because of just simple natural stuff here on Earth? Could very well be. In other words, evaporation, and of course the water gets displaced somewhere else, and that area just doesn't happen to be getting that much water. Or somebody have said, I've seen stories where they showed like UFOs, and it looked like they were like taking water from the ocean. Now, is that true? I didn't see that for myself, so I can't say yes. But if they actually needed the water for somewhere else, it would make sense, wouldn't it? They could take ocean life with them, bring it to their planet. Kind of makes sense, right? And they can start, because again, if you take fresh water and, salt water, it has its own oxygen. It gives off oxygen as well, just like you need trees, right? Bring plenty of trees with you, like seeds. That's all you need. Just plant it on your own planet. And hopefully you can live if you got enough sunlight. And all the other good stuff that goes with it. Some carbon. Adam, the Martian, you said, we have DNA from those who escaped from Mars after the cataclysm and came here to reactivate and rebuild their destroyed civilization. I'm kind of wondering if it's the other way around, too, though, equally. Because is it possible that we built what was on Mars thousands of years ago? And, of course, we're like, who was the one that said it? It said we're like a civilization that has amnesia because we had these cataclysmic events here that we don't remember our past. And that, is it possible we were from Mars itself, or is it possible, like I said, purely speculating, was that did we have Mars and Earth at one time, life on both, and we were actually technologically advanced thousands of years ago, but after these cataclysmic events, we went back into the dark ages every single time and had to rebuild, but maybe at one point we had life on both planets, and Mars just happened to get wiped out, or we wiped it out, either warring with somebody else, killed it off ourselves, and then the balance of it stayed here, or we were on Mars to begin with and moved here because of that. Maybe we had a warring situation with another alien species or whatever, or, and then we seen this pending doom. We just flew here and decided to make life here on Earth. I don't know. There's so many different possibilities, right? What do you guys think? Or just maybe just the theory of panspermia. What do you guys think? I don't know. Miss Here, you said you agree. You said we were Martians at one point way back in time. And again, we can only speculate, but is it possible? Like I said, if some of you folks are new here, I'm going to show you that photo I've got, what looks like things we'd have here on Earth, and it was in a Spirit, actually it was the Opportunity rover in this pan. And I showed this before, and I showed this on a talk show I had before, and people are going, that's crazy. What is that doing on there, and how is that possible that's even Mars? So I'll show you that, and of course that one I had that miles high structures on the moon, which is just really crazy, right? Right for All says we probably came from Mars. Could very well be. Even if we came here as microbes, right? Like the planet was alive, everything was good, had a cataclysmic event, boom. Microbes, microbial life, all on that. Just the ingredients for life as we know it here, just was on that rock, came here to Earth, started life here. We're still Martians, no matter how you look at it. Because it's still, you have to start there from microbial and, of course, evolve into, larger life forms and so on and so forth, right? So that's what I believe. Am I right? I don't know. I can only speculate. I can't prove it, so therefore it's pure speculation, right? But still, it's not like it's out of the realm of possibilities, right? Richie Six, you said, I think Earth is just a beacon now as we emit so many signals out. I'm sure many other advanced planets keep more hidden. Well, they can if we're like, if they have like, I'm going to just say like some kind of weird force field where it stops them from being detected on their planet, then we would probably not even know the technology, and therefore we probably wouldn't see it. But with the technology we have today, we got spectrum analyzers and stuff like that, and they can just see different wavelengths of that planet. What if they went to that certain planet and it showed void of any of that? And they'd have to question that. Okay, wait a minute. It doesn't even have the basics. So what's going on with that planet? Is it something that we need to look at more further, because it should not be doing that? Every planet shows a certain, what they believe atmosphere is in the atmosphere, whether it be full carbon or, a gaseous planet, whatever it may be. And this one's showing void of anything. So is it possible that they go, okay, so maybe these aliens have these technologies to hide themselves, basically cloak themselves, but yet we can tell that there's something different about their planet? I don't know. Mimi, you said, I have a feeling we went to the Dark Ages more than once. Well, here's the thing. Like I said, a lot of ancients believe we're in the 5th cycle. So 4 times prior to this, we had been almost killed off and rebuilt the planet, basically repopulated and rebuilt. So they believe now we're in the 5th cycle of that. So do we have another pending doom coming? Possibility. I don't know. Sarah Music, you said, I'm not sure how I feel about what these UFOs are or what's on Mars and the moon as well. It's obvious something is on Mars and the moon. Chris has done a wonderful job uncovering it. Well, I appreciate that, Sarah. And here's the thing. We don't know for sure if it is actually terrestrial, extraterrestrial, as far as these UAPs or UFOs. I tend to believe either way. I think it's cool either way. So in other words, if it's extraterrestrial, then we got people visiting us. And we may have reverse engineered a couple of theirs because maybe they crashed here. Maybe we took them out, so to speak, somehow with our technology and made one crash. And, of course, they claim that we have aliens and stuff like that. We had them at one point. Kind of like Independence Day, right? Of course, not as scary. But if we reverse engineer, this is how we got the technology we have today. Or we just progressed so much in our own technology, we built our own. Either way, it's equally cool because if there's other life out there, we're going to find it. Let's say we've never been visited. We build our own spacecraft. We're going to visit somewhere else, and we're going to know it. And from what we've seen on the moon and on Mars, we know it already. So it's still equally exciting because we're going to build our own and be able to travel to these places we can spot with these. And either, with our own telescope, Hubble, and things like that, we can actually look at other planets in our own solar system and say, wait a minute, there's something on there that doesn't look right. We'll send a next mission there. So whether it's they want to send like giant drones there to different moons and planets, different rovers like we've done to the moon. We had our own Apollo missions. The Soviet Union sent the Lunokhod rovers there. In fact, there's more than one. I forget how many they had. And these things travel for a good distance, man. It wasn't like 100 feet and then they just, okay, testing done. These things went for like a good couple, 2-3 miles, if not a lot longer than that. I forget exactly what it was. They didn't send man, but they sent a machine with the best quality cameras they had at the time, relayed it back to their space, what do you call it? We'll call it establishment or the center. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. To me, I just think a lot of these space agencies already knows what's out there, knew what's out there, been for the longest time, and now they're just wanting to go. This is the reason why we see so much of it going on. Everybody wants to go to Mars. Everybody wants to go to the moon. Everybody wants come on. There's got to be a reason for it, and I don't know exactly what it is, but as far as like, why the big bum rush? Now they're afraid somebody else is going to take it? Now, if you got other countries going there, they're going to want to put their own stake on it. Like, okay, here's my flag. This is my part of Mars. We'll be doing the same here in the United States, which we've already pretty much claimed it. And I don't mean claimed it like it's ours. I mean, we've been there first. Now, whether we get first bragging rights, I could give a darn. To me, I don't think anybody owns the planet. But they just go, okay, we'll just run up there. We'll just fly up there, see what we want to see. And then, like some of these people only sending orbiters, right? I think it was like Russia's only sending an orbiter, or sent an orbiter rather, not sending. And there's other I know India sent their mom's satellite orbiter. Things like that. I mean, it's just crazy, crazy stuff. Landers, rovers, For what reason if there's nothing there, man? It's just simple rocks. I don't get it. Why the big bum rush to go there if there's nothing there to see? MacDuffin, you said, naive if you think we are only living beings in this universe. I totally agree with you. Totally agree. What's going on there, Poindexter? Good to see you in there. Observe natural evolution. You said we only recovered our own tech vehicles. And that's a good possibility. Maybe thousands of years ago, like I said, when we were in our first cycle, maybe we were a lot more advanced than we are now. Who knows, right? And that we had bases already on there. And we were mining it then. Now we're just going back to it. Maybe it's the same thing with Mars. We were living there at one time. And now, something happened over there. We ended up on Earth. Now we're heading back home. I don't know. There's so many different speculative ideas we can come up with, but I think any one of them could be the real deal, right? We don't know. Noodles, you said there's also speculation of a huge sunspots that once reduced the energy of the sun by 70% for up to a week. Near instant climate change, fast cooling, snow in July. Yeah, that's not good. But yeah, I mean, I just pray to God we don't get this serious, this like giant pulse from like an EMP from the sun. Yeah. That might have been one of the reasons why we got knocked back into the Dark Ages. If you just stop electricity today and you're done, that's it. You can't get it back. There's something about EMP just fries just about everything on the planet. Of course, there's a lot of military that are insulating their stuff. A lot of satellites out in space are now insulated, so on and so on. I don't know how well they are. Depends on the EMP. Because they still want to be able to communicate even if all of this goes bad. Because you got to understand, a lot of these things actually have, a lot of these satellites are nuclear powered. They're not just solar powered or just have a little battery in them. So these things can last for years out in space, right? So if everything went dark here on the planet, those would still work. So the military would still be able to keep communication around the world. They would know what's going on because they would have their equipment and everything else, their technology insulated from an EMP as well, right? But if we mere mortals ever got hit with it, think about it. I know people would probably jump off a bridge if they didn't have this tomorrow. They lost their phone. They'd be like, that's it. I'm going to go kill myself. But on a serious note, I mean, you wouldn't be able to communicate. There's no communications. Nothing. Which is kind of a cool segue because look, I picked these up. Just got these in. Little GMRS radios, which are pretty sweet. And these are pretty nice. I just got a pair of these things, like $45 a piece. And these are good because we had I don't know if you guys have had these kind of weird deratios at some point. We had one about, I guess it was about 3 or 4 years ago. Maybe a hair bit longer than that. And you couldn't even use your cell phone. Now, I did have a landline because I had the Magic Jack I use as a landline. It's I think it's $29 a year. But I was locked into $19.99 a year. And it's nice to have. Your phones go down, you're screwed. But if you got one of these, and like I said, I've got a solar charger. I can charge it right in here. It's got it looks like it's got the regular Android kind of plug-in kind of thing, or regular standard old phone kind of thing instead of the iPhone. But I've got a solar charger. I can charge these up. So I don't need electricity. I could just use it right from the sun and charge these things up. But these are 5-watt models. And so you can go a good couple distance. I'd say a good about, maybe 3 miles, maybe 4 miles, something like that. Depends on the area and stuff like that. But, terrain and whatnot. And plus, you can hit repeaters. Of course, the repeaters wouldn't do you any good if the power went down. But it's still nice to have it. I recommend it to everybody. Anytime, they go, well, what do I need those for? I got a cell phone. Right now you do. But you get it look at the hurricanes that hit a lot of these states. You knock down a cell towers, you're not using any phones. You're dead. You just have nothing to use. But these, as long as you get them in a safe place, like a bug-out bag type thing, these are nice to have. You tell your family members to have the same thing. You ever end up in that situation, fully charged, ready to go before a storm, and you'd be surprised. It would save your life. It would save your life. Rock Kids is taking off. Says, night, Chris. All early. Early wake up tomorrow. I hear you. All right, Rock Kids, have yourself a good one, man. Appreciate you being here. Royal Canadian RP says, been watching your vids at night lately, catching up. Well, I appreciate it. I do appreciate that. H-Straws1AV said a CME, 10 times Carrington event. Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely, because you got the coronal mass ejection, which is a CME, and, yeah, you don't know what it can do. I think it was like in the 1800s. Wasn't it early 1800 where it just wiped out all the Morse code lines, basically just fried the lines, and there was no communication. Simple communication like that completely knocked out. Now, don't get me wrong, if you have this on during an EMP, you might as well kiss this goodbye. But if it's not on, there's a good chance you won't have to worry about it. It's just, but the grid itself, if it's so vulnerable, like a lot of it is, you won't have any electricity to do anything. Well, let me go get gas. Oh, can't do that. Forgot about that. You know, and I'm screwed because I've got a, electric car. Once the battery runs out, I'm screwed. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But you can always have communication, and you got to at least have it somehow, some way. And if you got something like solar panels with a solar charger, plug it right into here, charge these things up, make sure they're charged. And like I said, you use them, put them back on the charger during the day, and let them charge. Ready to rock. Got to have it. People don't realize how much they need it until all of a sudden they're in that situation. Go, man, I wish I would have done that. Poindexter, he said, Bofang? No, this is a radio oddity. You can see it right here. It's pretty much the same thing. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, let's do it this way. Yeah. It's radio oddity is what it is, but it's an off-brand name, but like I said, 5 watts. It's pretty sweet. Most of them are 2 watts. And like I said, I can hit repeaters. And I do have a Yaesu 7100, which is actually a modified for business band. Of course, it's got GMRS and FRS, which is, I'm not a big fan of FRS. There's too many people on it, family radio service. But GMRS, you need a license for this. I think it's like, I forget what it is. It's supposed to be like $70, $75 for like, I don't know if it's a lifetime, whatever it is. Now they're supposed to be putting it down to 30. I love the voice on this thing. Listen.
Welcome. Channel mode.
No, she's not Asian. Channel mode. I think that's pretty funny, but I haven't gotten it even set up yet where you can see it. I haven't even gotten it set up, but like I said, I just fired it up. You can use it right out of the box that way, but I'm going to put it set up where you can see the frequencies and not the channel and all that other good stuff. CTS code, set those right, the whole 9 yards. H-Charles1AV, you said 1859. That's a very good possibility. Phil C., thank you very much for your support, brother. I do appreciate you. Good to see you here, too, by the way. So, hi, Chris. All I can say is that if NASA doesn't get a move on, their probes are going to discover SpaceX colonies on Mars. Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah, buddy. Well, the thing is, like I said, I love the idea of Elon wanting to do all this, right? Wants to make this big civilization on Mars and stuff like that. I don't think we really have to go that crazy. Everybody's talking about terraforming, and I don't think we have to do all that. For what reason? Like I said, I mean, the air is pretty thin. You might have to wear, like I said, maybe some oxygen, a small tank of oxygen. But, I mean, other than that, and then, of course, don't be outdoors at night. Other than that, in the summertime, it's like 50 to 70 degrees, if not warmer than that. They always claim, every time you see it, it's always like, well, it's well below zero. No, it's not. Maybe at night and in a different season, but it warms up like it does here on Earth. And if you're near the equatorial region on Mars, it can get anywhere between 50 to 70 and even upward towards 100 in some of these spots. So don't let them kid you. Observing natural now. He said, there's no communication now. Pretty much. What's going on, Bush Corey? Good to see you in there, too. Pete's Vlogs, what's happening? He said, That's why I have a huge generator. We will go to war at one point, unfortunately. Well, I mean, the only thing I have a problem with, about generators, I've got one myself, right? It's not huge, but it's good size. I can run anything I want to in the house. But, I can't run the whole house. But regardless of that, my buddy, he's lucky. I don't know. He gets he must have like a lucky horseshoe stuck up his rear end. But what's funny about it is he's on this property where it has natural gas, and it's on his property. He doesn't have to pay for it. So he has it plumbed into his generator. I think it's only it's like a 20K, 20,000, 20,000 watt, I think it is, generator. And he can just run the thing. I said, that's all cool. He's one of these guys, when the crap hits the fan, this is the guy you want to hang out with, because he's got like an arsenal. Me and a buddy of mine went over there, and he built like this vault. You can't even notice it. It's built into the wall. And you open it up, it's like a giant walk-in closet, and it's got all kinds of ARs, AKs, you name it. It's got everything. It's got unimaginable amount of like firepower and all this. He's got even these things like spikes you can throw out in the driveway if somebody comes up your driveway. I'm going, you know what? That's all cute, but here's the problem with it. Let's say people become desperate. There's going to be groups of people looking for something to eat. Let them hear your generator. You're done. So the cool thing about having solar is, provided it's not a world war and, we pretty much ruin the atmosphere where it blocks out the sun, so you end up in some kind of, basically, nuclear winter type thing, or something that hits the planet. But if it's as simple as the grid going down, and you got the generator, he can run that thing forever to a certain degree. You'd have to shut it off, change the oil, whatever. But as soon as people hear that, they're going to come over to his house. Now he's going to need his weapons. Constantly taking these people out. Okay, what then? You're going to run out of arsenal, and all kinds of weapons and everything at some point. You're a dead man, and so isn't your family. So, yeah, you can hold out longer than anybody else, but I said, you know what I'd do? I'd open up my door, I'd break the front glass of my window, look like it's already been ravaged through, throw a couple cans of food out there, make it look like it's been ravaged already. And then people go, we don't need to be in there. They've already been in that house. So, you got to use a little common sense. Thank you, Miss Hader. Appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Absolutely awesome. Phil C said, got to be around 10 rovers by now. well, like I said, we had the Sojourner, Spirit and Opportunity, Curiosity, Perseverance, and now we got China's rover on there. So, yeah. So we got what, 6? Excuse me. So, yeah, and besides, we got landers, the Insight, Viking. We got all kinds of landers on there, too. Mimi Reaction said, we still have a few World War bunkers left. And World War II, or World War II. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had the money. I'd buy one of those. Those are awesome. Because there's a good chance, you'll probably survive, whatever goes on out there. But if it's prolonged, again, you're just basically, that's your tomb. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, if it's anything of any real catastrophic event, you could probably prolong your death, but is it the inevitable? So, you guys ever seen that movie? The Mist? I don't know if you guys ever seen that. Good movie. I remember my daughter seeing it years ago. And she said, well, I don't want to watch it because a lot of my friends from school said it sucked. And I said, well, and I think I discussed it here on the live feed anyway. And I was like, what about it? And they said, well, it sucked. I said, well, it doesn't mean you shouldn't watch it because maybe they just didn't understand it. And after she watched it, I watched it with her. I thought it was a really good movie. Really good movie. And at the end, it's like, oh, my God, poor guy. Noodles just said, and that's why we crave alien contact. The moon as an arc could be useful. True. Could very well be, right? Oliver Klein, what's going on? Said, hey, Chris. What is going on, Oliver? Hope you're doing well. Oops. Darren S., you said, hey, Chris, first time on your chat. Awesome work you do. Thanks for all the entertainment. I love you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Nothing but love for you guys. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm glad you made it on there because that's cool. A lot of you guys have been trying to do that. I know you. Sometimes it's like this weird time, and some of you can't make it on there. And I try to have it at a time where it's not too late for people in the UK and, so on and so forth, trying to get a happy medium because I know everybody in California obviously is 3 hours ahead of, I'm sorry, not, but behind me. So you're on 3-ish, 3:30-ish. And then, of course, everybody over there, they're like 5 hours at this point, I believe, depending on where you're at. And, of course, if you're in New Zealand or Australia, you're completely next day and later. But so I try to make it so it's not too late. Yeah, so I'm glad you're able to get on there, man. Do appreciate it. And do appreciate the kind words. Yeah, maybe you're right about the. You said in Germany, people have their little gardens. These people might survive longer. They would, unless, of course, it was something that was, again, it was something like viral or something would kill plants. But I doubt that. But if it's anything to do with just simple grid going down, yeah. You live out in the country and you got yourself a garden and everything, you got a lot better chance of living. And here's the thing. Could you just simply build a fire and, have like little lanterns and stuff? Whatever it might take, as long as you can, go to bed at night in the house and come back out and, you got daylight. So as long as you got food, you can still grow stuff. Now, can you actually travel? Yeah, if you got a bike, you could do that. Get around. Of course, it probably wouldn't last long because people would probably take it from you. But you know how that goes. Oh, I appreciate that, Darren. You said I watch all your videos. Thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Phil C. Yeah, he said at the end of the mist, the giant being walking around was the kicker. Blew me away. If you remember, Phil, that was the same thing. That giant creature, whatever it was, walking right over the highway. If you remember, that thing had a bunch of tentacles. That was the thing trying to get into that steel door. It grabbed that guy. I don't know why it just didn't just break the whole building down and take whatever they wanted in there. But yeah. Do you remember at the end what he does? That guy, and they're all in the car, and the thing dies and runs out of gas. Yeah. And then the ironic part of it. Yeah, crazy. But the movie itself was actually pretty good. Really, really good. Yep, Stephen King. Cameron, you taking off? You said, have a good 4th of July and a good weekend. Good stream like always, Chris. Stay safe out there. You do the same, Cameron. Thanks for joining us, as always, right? I do appreciate you being here. Oh, Miss Harriet, it's more than enough. I do appreciate it. Yeah, you don't have to explain anything. Wish you could do more, but teenagers, granddaughters cost. Yeah, they do. It's amazing how they look at you like it says in bank or something on your forehead. Grandma, can I have something? Yeah, there we go. But yeah, you got to love them, right? But no, you don't have to explain that. I appreciate any support. You know that. Yeah, Robert, we're definitely going to do that. He said, can we see more moon here as well as on lunar anomalies? Yeah, I'm going to try to do it in both because, like I said, there's other channels that just don't. They despise me doing these moon videos because I get more views on them. So we're going to definitely make sure we do it here and some lunar anomalies as well. So, yeah, we're definitely going to do it there as well as here. And like I said, the next one I got coming up is really wild. Like I said, and here's the thing. When I explain what I say about one of these astronauts, because I said it basically these objects definitely dwarf the size of this astronaut. But there's another side to it, and yeah, it's just going to blow you away, period. But the stuff that's in the background is amazing. And I just looked over another Viking pan, like I said, and what's in that just doesn't make sense. It's just, when you look at it, you're going to go, okay, clearly that doesn't look like rocks or nor hills. So what is it? Again, they see this stuff right from the word go. Now, they sent orbiters, fly by, because they had the Viking orbiters as well as the landers. They seen this stuff on the surface of Mars then. This is the reason why they were compelled to go. They just didn't have the technology to do it. So what do? Send all kinds of, landers and basically rovers and whatever else they can send, the helicopter, so on and so forth. There's a reason for it. Just didn't have the technology to get there, but now we do, right? So this is the reason why we're there. What's going on, Alien Views? Good to see you in there. Yeah, that's a possibility. You said you could build an underwater bunker. That's a possibility, sure. Darren, you said I enjoy your moon content too. Yeah, content too. Yeah. So when you see, like I said, when you see this next one and then the Viking one, it all comes back now. You will actually see why. Again, from the moon stuff, it makes sense. If I was these guys and I seen the stuff on the moon since the whenever time when they first started looking at it and seeing these things up there, it's going to be no wonder to you that they're all over the place trying to find more of these structures and other civilizations in our own solar system. Because here's the thing: if you didn't find nothing on the moon, they probably wouldn't have thought nothing of it. Okay, nothing there. Next, they probably would have been still looking at our neighbors, meaning Mars and all the other planets, but as soon as they seen that, sent people up there to look at the stuff, the Apollo missions, and said, wow, yeah, this is not ours. So clearly, if it's on the moon, what about our neighboring planets? Especially if it's in the Goldilocks zone like Earth and Mars is. So if they do that, they take a look and, oh, wow, to their surprise, there's more structures. So they know if it's even in our own solar system, it's exosolar system too. There's much more life. It's not going to be just to our own solar system. Because clearly something came here and then left the solar system, or we are just who we are in our own solar system. Either way, we came from one planet to another or vice versa. And even if we did not, let's say Mars had life on it separate from Earth. Okay, regardless of the fact, there's more than one planet with life. And you can bet if there is, there's a lot more out there. And like I said, you'd have to be real close-minded to believe that there's no other life out there. I just don't believe that, right? Rexy Husky, I'm sorry, can't get it out. Rexy Husky channel. DeGrasse toes the line. He knows he's just pulling for the NASA guys, just like Carl Sagan. He knew and also convinced or indoctrinated to also toe the line. Yeah, absolutely. These guys know this stuff. Come on. They're looking at it. They're in the know, but they're trying to keep this just keep it under our hats kind of thing, right? Like, let's not say anything about it so we don't. They don't want it to just snowball and get out of control where people are going, well, I want more. Because if they start talking about more and more of it, more and more scientists come out with it, they're going to be like, okay, now we need the full disclosure. But, most of these guys they already know. They're happy. They're just more than content to know this stuff. So they're just like, okay, leave it at that. And that's what they're doing. That's what it comes down to. I've seen that, Blue Sky. That's a good movie. He said, for the movie that'll twist, that the twist at the end will blow your mind, The Book of Eli. Yeah, that one's good. That is good. Yeah, I didn't think for a moment that he was, but, after when you watch the whole thing, you're like, what? Dean Brazil, what's going on? He said, sorry for the late entrance. Hey, Chris. Hey, everyone. Hope everyone is well. I'm sorry. Well, we are. I hope you're doing good there as well, Dean. Good to have you in there. Yes, Darren, full of life everywhere. I believe this. Listen, even if we never see anything on the moon or anything on Mars photos, wouldn't care. But you can't still look at out there and say, oh, clearly we're just the only people on any kind of planet. No way. Again, if we're carbon-based and it's scattered throughout the universe, okay, all they need is their own ingredients to life to have life. I don't care if it's just simple organics. It doesn't have to be people on it or beings. It still has life one way or the other. Now, can you imagine some of the lives? It's kind of like watching Avatar, right? These weird, freaky animals and stuff flying around and creeping along that would eat you and everything else. How do we know? I think they know, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. There's definitely life out there in one form or another. It's as simple as that. Claire Mead. I was thinking of The Fog. Totally wrong film. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's still that was a good movie. But The Mist. If you hadn't had a chance to watch that movie. It's kind of a mind blower. Good movie, and it just shows you that the not Department of Defense. I forget what it was. I don't know if it was them or it was definitely the military. But yeah, they make a big boo boo and pay the consequences for it. So. There you go, alien views. Klaatu Verata Nitgu. Yeah. The day the earth stood still. Absolutely. Rexy Husky Channel says, I worked for the Office of Navy Intelligence over 25 years ago. We knew then, my friends, not their origins, but they were the real physical phenomenon, probably of off-world origin. Yeah, I'm not even surprised at that at all. Truthfully, I'm not. Oh, yeah, Miss Heard, absolutely. Miss Heard, you said NASA says that the Artemis program will land on the moon in 2024, and per NASA, the astronauts, women included, are there to stay. Yeah, I mean, I think they're just going to move into the bases we already have up there, or stuff that's already there. Think about it. Kind of like they would do there on Mars, although if the Martian stuff is much smaller than, you know, what we would think of as a normal size structure, that's not going to work. But yeah, I mean, just weird. I mean, it's like every time I look at a lot of these Martian photos, I don't know if you guys see it too, it's like everything seems miniaturized. It doesn't look very big. And then some things, it's off in the distance, they look quite large. I don't know what to make of it. I think it's the way they're either zoomed in, because you can't see the rover in a lot of these, so you don't know whether they're zoomed in or they're not. And then sometimes you see the rover in the photo, or at least part of it, and then you see something on the ground, you go, but these look like a bunch of structures behind it. Okay, but the thing can't be more than like a couple of feet in width and a foot high. I mean, I don't know. And I've seen photos way back, and I started doing these, that some of these photos were actually superimposed. You can literally see through the rover and see a rock. Like, let's say there's a rock, and you got the actual deck of the rover. You can see a rock, and right behind it, you can see the rock, the outline through the rover. I mean, it's like it's been superimposed to make it. So if they make it look like it's some, you know, the rover's there, then clearly there must be just funky looking rocks and nothing more. You know, again, they can play with your perception all day long and not think twice about it, right? Well, then again, they would never lie to the public. Yeah. Alien views, yeah. Earth versus flying saucers. Yep. Amora says, hey friends, happy Friday. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Let me see. Tony Gibbs, you said in Braille, the Bible would be several of the book he was carrying. That's true. Yeah, that would be one darn big book, wouldn't it? Yeah, one of mine too, Miss Heard. You said Avatar's a great movie. One of my faves. Absolutely. Really good movie. Steve Gotham says Alien Views. He's talking Alien Views. Says War of the Worlds, first one. Even the first one was good, right? Second one I thought was pretty darn good too, because obviously more high tech and stuff like that, CGI and all kinds of good stuff. Alien Views, there you go, Lilliputians, little people, yep. Nothing like the originals. Rexy Husky Channel said, you just described exactly how I feel, Chris. I hear you on that one. Mauricio, what's going on? Mauricio Roach is in the house. Prometheus. Yes, I love that movie. Can't get enough of that kind of movie. Give me more. Give me fuel. Give me fire. Let me see. Josh D said, I did better work in the 70s with wet roll film and pencil and a pair of scissors. My dad taught me well in the dark room. Oh, yeah. Juxta Billy, what's going on? So, totally, Chris. I wonder sometimes if there's any tiny anomalies I see, if there's any tiny civilizations on Mars. I swear to God, you would think there's a lot of small ones. And here's the thing. Again, I'm going to go back to one of the lander photos, or they made a pan out of it, and it looks like the same thing, like these things are very small. And I'm talking about, like, objects you could put right in front of you. I don't know. I don't get it. And did they do the same kind of fakery, meaning zoomed in, or maybe put the lander or superimpose it back then? I don't think they did it back then, but yet, excuse me. Oh, I'm going to love it. So the lander's in the photo, and you can see something to the left and to the right of it. In the middle, not so much. I'm looking, I'm going, okay, let me check over there. Okay, I can see some weird shapes. And I go to the right and I say, wow. I mean, these things are just popping right out, right in front of you, and I'm not doing anything to the photo. You know, it's one thing to see straight edge. People go, big deal. That could be erosion. Absolutely agree. Okay, 90-degree angle. Maybe it's a rock just happened to fall like this, and then there's one like this, so you get a 90-degree angle. True, absolutely true. But when you see a ton of them in one spot, there's no way that could be. It just can't happen like that. Max K, yeah, another good movie, Abyss. The Abyss was really good. I like when they finally get down to the bottom, they can see that whole city underwater. That was cool. Noodles, yeah. Neo could be part of any story. Mr. Wick is in the Matrix for sure. Yeah, Miss here. Yeah, you said exactly, Chris. What are the astronauts going to live on the moon? Existing structures already on the moon? That's what I think. I mean, I've seen plenty of it. So they probably figured, hey, listen, even if the structure is not functioning, meaning there's no electricity or whatever the hell they power these things, we'll just retrofit it. As long as it's, it's structurally sound, we can move into the thing, right? Why not? Jared Lane, when you see Lilliputians on Mars sitting in a naked woman's lap, do you call them pets? Oh, H. Charles, one of you said, I think you were saying the real Jimmy Roberts did some good work on the scales of Mars photos. Everything appears to be quite small relative to us. Yeah, I mean, I don't, and I've talked to him before. I said, I'm not sure if I believe all the scaling that he's doing. And the reason for that is this, is that I believe a lot of it is pretty much spot on and some of it not so much. Because you can see the rover, and if you can picture yourself next to the rover, you have to look at the rover where it shows, like you just look up like Curiosity rover. And when you see that, you can see it in the lab with a lot of these guys in there. And they're probably anywhere between 5'10" and 6'3". And, you know the very top of that telescoping neck where it has the actual, the actual cameras on the top, on the mast, it's 7 feet tall. Okay, so the average guy, if he's, let's say he's 6'2", that works in there. So you can actually visualize this man standing next to this, and then you look at the ground, you're going, this isn't very far away. And yet it'll say, oh, it's like 100 yards away or, a quarter mile away. It's like, no. This is nowhere near that. And that's where it comes in. What if you see a bunch of tiny little structures? You might think they're way off in the distance. But maybe they're a lot closer and they're just that small. Again, throws your perspective and the way your depth perception works, right? I don't know, Mags. He said, "Where's Jimmy?" I don't know. He hasn't done a video, and what is it? What did it say? I'm trying to remember when the last time I seen a video from him. So I don't know what's up. He's probably just busy, and it is nice. It's summertime now, time to get out and do things, and probably hitting his pool and everything else and just chilling, and I wouldn't blame him. I'll be going on vacation another couple weeks. So, yeah, I mean, clearly you're going to want to just, get some downtime and relax. If you guys are just working your butt off at your job, or whatever it may be, yeah, any downtime is a good thing, right? But yeah, I haven't seen him. I haven't really talked to him either. So he's probably really busy just doing his own thing. I'm not sure. Alien Views said measurements through a camera on an angle is hard to get accurate. Absolutely. Totally get it. Noodles. Lunar retrofitting. Contracts. Big bucks. Woohoo. Oh, yeah. There you go, Kyle. They might be looking for some contractors and carpenters up there, so I hope you're ready to go. Like, what? Oliver Klein, you said, what was that, 500,000? Martian population as I heard on Mars, so non-Earth. Well, it's like I said, is it possible we had life on both planets at one time, even hundreds and thousands of years ago, maybe thousands of years ago? We don't know, right? There could have been life on both planets, and we could have been bouncing back and forth. Who knows? Now, Elaine, you make a great point. Anyone watch Doctor Who? I like the older ones for some reason. The new ones are cool and all, but just maybe it's just a cheesiness of the old ones. Remember, just some of them are pretty funny, pretty good stuff. But I mean, for the day, it was cool, And you said, or for a funny space comedy, Red Dwarf, where the squad pet cat listener has over the generations evolves into a vain by Catman. Now, I don't think I've ever seen that one, but the old Doctor Who I liked. Stephen French, you said Lazar knows more than he's telling. I think he still works for the government. Yeah, I mean, is it possible he's still just he's like one of the people out there trying to disinform or just trying to steer the populace in a certain direction to whatever reason, for whatever motive? I don't know. Oh, there you go, Stephen Garnham, Life Force with the naked vampire woman. That's what we need. Vampire women running around. Lone Villain Inc. says, afternoon, people. Coffee and pre-roll cameras. Camels, I'm sorry. Pre-roll, I guess. And camels in space. Talk life is good. Oh, yeah. Frank Miklos, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said on a show I once watched, they claimed that the humans are more suited for the planet the size of Mars, not Earth. Well, yeah, exactly. And they say because of the gravity, it's not as bad, so your body wouldn't actually be compressing as you get older. It's a longer day. I think it's like 24 hours and 40 minutes, or 39 to be exact. It's more in the body cycle than it is here on Earth. So, yeah, could be. Louis Longbeard, thank you very much for your support, sir. Always appreciated. He said, good evening, team. Hope everyone is good. Good evening, team. Hope everyone is good. Another hangout down, and we haven't been invaded by ET yet. I'm a tad late, but I'm here and now, and keep it up, Chris. I appreciate it, Louis Longbeard. Again, thank you for your support. I do appreciate you. Pat Owen, what's going on? He said, because the government will never give us the truth or the whole truth. I think it's going to come out from other resources, right? They're going to let us people look for ourselves, right? I think so anyway. And who knows, I'm hoping, of course I don't know if it's going to be a good thing, that if one country wars with another, or has these, and then they just start rat-finking on them. But if they're the same ones going to Mars as well, they're going to go, well, clearly you can't rat on either ESA or the United States, or you can't because you're doing the same thing, so you're not any better. So I don't think that'll happen, but it would probably take a disgruntled employee from one of these places to actually let the cat out of the bag, right? Hans and Kraft says, I agree, Chris. Yeah, Lunatic. He said tomorrow. Well, I want to see that. That looks pretty good. Is a new movie that promises. Isn't it a series? I think it's supposed to be a series. I think it's on Amazon Prime. which I have, so I'm going to definitely check it out. I think it just came out, too. I think it just came out. It looks good, too. Darren asked, he said, all moon photos that we have been, that we see have been highly fudged. Yeah, I mean, well, here's a good example. Like I said, this one here, this is the one I've done. This is the side-by-side I've done, where I enhanced, and you can see it right here. Now, these three areas, there's one here where these structures are. This funky-looking, I don't know how this could be a crater when it's literally the edges off the ground, looks like a giant piece of paper. And, of course, we got something in the back here that I said it looked like it was a double-decker structure of some sort, and all we see is framework. Let me just get my face out of there, and you can see that better in the lower corner. And, of course, you can see the... let me put it back like that. Just moved it off this thing there for you for a second. But these three areas here, right here, just about lower right, lower left, and then up in the upper left, you can see what looks like a two-story structure with framework. Now, when I jump over to here, you can see that these things, all I do is just brought up the actual brightness, just bright up. And there you go. That's all I did to it. Things are still there. They've just been brought up. And then what I did do, to be truthful, you can see where, like in this back here, upper left, where it was white here, and you can see like framework, it just made it a little bit brighter. That was it. But most of it was nothing but the exposure brought up. That's it. And like I said, I don't know how we have this weird looking crater that looks like that, but whatever. And here's the other thing, right next to this lower left one, just right here, right next to it, look at all these pieces just laying on the ground straight, rectangular, looks like buildings or structures of some sort. You can see all these little pieces here, all in there. That's what got me on this photo to begin with. Then this one here, I stumbled on the one in the lower right here by accident. I said, why does the ground look like it's got straight edges up and down? And what I noticed was this area right here on it. In fact, I can zoom in just a little bit on this. On the right-hand side, I could see this vertical rectangular piece, and I thought maybe it was part of the cliff. If I go over to this part, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, all I saw was this right here. Didn't think nothing of it. And I was like, whoa, wait, hold on a minute. Hold on. I said, what is going on there? And again, these right here. And you can see them, like it looks like framework of this structure right here. You can see that. Right there in the back. Looks like there's something else right there in the back of it, too. Didn't even notice that before, either. You can see it right there, whatever that is, right to the right is. But you can see now, it looks like framework to like almost like a two-story structure or something like that. But this is what they do. You can see right here, if you zoom into this, look at the very top of this. Looks like the roof part of it. You can see what it looks like. It's just kind of white, but then all of a sudden you see like it's been really highly contrasted. Like they got some kind of, I don't know what they use to do that. But you can see where they look like they blotched over something white on the top of this to give it, so it looks like it's part of the ground and not something that's off the ground. You know what I mean? And I don't mean literally raised off the ground, but I was just reading something on here. It just popped in. But anyway, you can see what looks like these weird structures and stuff right on the side of it. They have height to them. They're not flat by any stretch. Let me go like this. And like I said, this one here, I believe it's this one here, this crater in the foreground. It's supposed to be like 40 miles wide. Okay, and I think it's supposed to go like this here. It's not supposed to be, you can see where it'd probably be, if you can almost look at from the actual curvature here, it'd probably be good size, but it's supposed to be like 40 miles. Okay, so if you were to lay these things down, and these structures actually are taller than you think as they go down past here, and you can see it way down from here. Yeah. There's another one I've seen that somebody said, oh, well, if you look at the high quality one, you don't even see these. And he's right. He's absolutely right. What you see is it looks like a smooth out black area, and you see these white stripes going like the ones you see here vertically, but you see them going horizontally, completely smooth out compared to the rest of the photo. In other words, if it was just as grainy, I'd go, yeah, that's a good possibility. But all of these things have been basically erased in the photo. they don't look nothing like this one even. And this is the first gen photo. And yet there they are. And you can see these things pretty darn well. All right, let's see. Alien views, yeah, Trump Luna Hotel. That could be. Josh, you said in the old days we did this using mass cutout over the negative that overexpose and enlarger than a normal enlarge the rest of the negative. Huh, interesting. Like I said, when you see these things, seeing a UFO probably wouldn't really blow my mind. Because when you folks said that earlier, oh, if you see it, I got something that really scared the crap out of you. I don't know, man. These things, if they're that large, I mean, you walking up to one of these things must be outrageously tall. Let's say this thing, I mean, if you, to a vision, this being 40 miles, how big is that thing? How tall are these structures? That's why in this video I put, it's called Miles High Structures Found on the Moon. That's the actual title. And you can just see these things. I'll try to get them all in there, but there you go. Right? All right, Steve, you have yourself a good night. You said midnight in UK. Good night, all. All right, Steve, have yourself a good one. Thanks for joining us. Do appreciate you being here, man. All right, now I'm going to show you the other one from from Mars. This one here is good because it's probably one of my faves. Now, this is the one it comes from. That's PIA 06701, and you can see the opportunity here on the right-hand side. And this is a pan, of course. But what's in here is absolutely insane. I'm going to show you just by zooming into this, because this is nothing done to this at all, until you enhance it. Again, take out any kind of shadows, take out any kind of dark areas of these set items, and they're non-noticeable. However, and you guys have seen this, I've showed it, I have even showed it to people on a show. First time I've been on one of these other live feeds, well, a show with somebody else, and people are like, what is that? Are you kidding me? It looks like something we see here on Earth. And I said, yeah. It looks like these things will wash down a hillside. And you can see it if I back up a little bit. You can see right here. There's one up here. Right there. It's like you see half of it, or just the top of it. Notice the lines. Lines are everything. Right here. Okay? This item right here. I'm going to show you the zoomed in version. There's actually more in here too, believe it or not, in this very center, below this other item. But it's really hard to bring out. But there is extra stuff there. There's actually more junk laying there. And down here. Now, what do you guys suppose these things are? Now, if anybody's seen these, obviously knows what they are. Because I've done this before. Alien Views is a Chris. Will you post this Hangout to the be viewed later? And it's a time. Yeah, it always goes on automatically. Yep. All right. So let me show you the actual enhanced version. And this is zoomed in. Let me just get it in a little. Whoop. I hate when it does that. Crazy how it does that. But you can see it here. Just bringing the darkness back into the photo. I'm just going to do these two pieces here. Anybody want to take a guess? And like I said, a lot of you folks already know, because I've done this video, and I've also been on a live show doing this. But they have an uncanny looking things like we have here on Earth. And people are like, well, clearly this is not Mars. Why? Why? We could share the same things. A lot of things, if the technology was, if we had, well, here's the thing. If we were like a civilizations pretty much living like in the same time eras where they were doing their thing, we were doing ours, or if we we were going back and forth from planet to planet, why wouldn't we pretty much have the same thing, right? Yeah. Martin Wolfright said, it's a car, LOL. Actually, it looks like two of them. I mean, it's crazy. What are they doing there? And like I said, I told my boss this. I come in with this photo one day, and I don't know if I even still have them under here. I used to have the photos under here at one time. I think I moved them. When I put this new computer in. But I literally went in there with this photo. I said, "Yeah, just take a look at these photos. Tell me what you see." He says, "All right." And of course, he chuckled a little bit, and he was like, "Well," he said, "Well, let me just have a look." And he says, and he kind of looked at it. He didn't want to answer. He's like, I said, "Listen, there is no right or wrong answer because there's no way we can vet any of this stuff anyway. What do you think they are?" The first thing he said, "This one right here looks like an army jeep." That's exactly what I thought it was. It looks like, you can actually see what looks like the front glass type thing right there. The front end looks like a wheel here, another wheel well in the back. Looks like the seats would be right there. Now, is it an actual Jeep? It looks like one. Is it? There's no way to vet it. There's no way. So at this point, it's pure speculation, nothing more. Here, looks like a bunch of junk laying on the ground here. And there's something on the ground here. It's like just buried or whatever that is. And there's actually something here, but I didn't really emphasize on those at the time because I wanted to show the things that were more important. So, get the three of them in there. Like I said, to me, I just looked at these and I went, wow, what is going on here? I said the smoking gun on Mars, and, you know, that's what they look like to me. But again, it's only speculative because we can't actually prove this, right? There you go, alien viewers. It's a Martian golf cart. Damn. You got it. It's a Jetson mobile. There you go. Well, here's the thing. Why is it so far-fetched? People go, well, why the heck would they use that on Mars? I don't know. Why not? Why is it far-fetched? They need transportation. They automatically believe they're like the Jetsons. Oh, everything's sophisticated. How do we know that? We don't know that. They could have been where we are thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, where we are today. So in other words, their civilization died off. They could have been much more advanced than they are today, and yet they're not. Meaning, you know, they are where we are today, but they were there already hundreds of years ago, and their civilization stopped there. And a lot of these things look like they've been, you know, like I said, washed down hills, wrecked, thrown around, thrashed around, and that's what it looks like. So whatever they are, I don't know. They look like I said, cars or some kind of vehicles. Scourge, 1971, you said the yellow arrow looks like it's pointing at a car. Yeah, pretty much both of them appear to be some kind of vehicle, at least in the way we see things, our vehicles here on Earth. Now, are they? I don't know. I don't know. But that's what they look like to me. Found on Mars dead, huh? Good one. That's what happens. A used car lot. There you go. Tony says, Fiats are popular there. Yeah, but I heard they break down a lot. Maybe the older ones didn't, but the new ones kind of do. Yeah, there's also other weird looking stuff over there. Max Gage, he says, no, it was James said speedboat in the center, 200 mile an hour one. Got this weird shapes in here, just things that, yeah. I mean, even this here, you can see how the back of this thing goes down, and it still goes below this manipulation. You can see the back of it's just straight down. See that? Almost like you can almost see something right there in the back, like that would be the back wheel. Again, I'm just purely speculating, but just weird how it comes down and drops right there. And it looks like they just put junk here just to try to block it out. But the lines are, in fact, there. Like, if this was the front windshield, it looks like it's there. All I do is bring the contrast back. That's all you got to do. What's going on there, George Mayer? You said, definitely a vehicle. I've seen vehicles on Mars before. I've seen them more than once. Now, I've been laughed at because of that. And they're like, oh, freaking cars on Mars. That's so ridiculous. Why? Again, as sophisticated as we are, we still have the wheel. I don't care if you're driving around in a, whatever, like an old car or something sophisticated. We still have the wheel. And at some point, don't they have to get around somehow? How do we know we didn't get, how do we know we didn't get back in the day when we had orbiters going around there, we didn't see these things pretty clear, and that's how we got ideas to build ours. Of course, again, I'm getting all sci-fi on you guys, and I'm getting, really speculative. But how do we know it isn't true? Disclosure TV, what's going on? He said, what's up, guys? Missed a few shows. I've been busy. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Life gets in the way. You got to do what you got to do. But good to have you in there, man. Pat Owen says it's Razor X's car. Ooh. Motorcycle. Terry Kelling, I like that. Elon Musk, new dealership. That's good. Yeah, exactly. I thought of the same thing. You Scourge, when you were saying that, you said, are you sure this isn't a dry creek bed in New Mexico? Well, again, it's on a hill type thing, and you can see it's like kind of sloping down. Like it's coming down this crater, because this is a giant crater wall, like I said. If you look at it here, here, you can see this is in a crater, and this thing goes all the way around, because keep in mind, this is a 360 pan. So this thing actually goes all the way around the rover, and that's what we're seeing, right? And still see the shape of this thing up here, and see the line and everything right there. Still see it pretty well. The only difference is I brought the contrast back to the photo. Here's the other one. It's not like I'm adding this stuff in there. It's absolutely in there. All we did is just bring up the contrast. See it? Actually, let me back this up. We can almost do it like a... Do it like that there. Yeah. It's there. They're in the photo. Now, what are they, and why are they on Mars? That's the big question. And if you were to do this, back out. Now, keep in mind, the opportunity wasn't very big. You can see it here. If you look at them, just look at the scale of these things. You can actually Google this. You can put on Martian rovers, and you see like they're standing in one of the test areas in here on Earth, where they had the little Sojourner, they had the sister rovers, which was a Spirit and Opportunity, and then they had Curiosity, and you can see them how big they are compared to a person, and they're not very big. I mean, they're literally right over here. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a 360 pan, so this would be wrapping around this rover. But the point is, they don't look super large, but they are off in the distance. So are they just a little bit bigger than a rover? I don't know. That's what's crazy. I don't know. You tell me. But this is probably one of my all-time faves from The Opportunity. Really, really cool. Well, that's the other thing, too, Robert. I'm glad you brought that up. You said anti-grav cars with probably powered by a Searle machine. Well, here's the thing. You know, people, they automatically assume it's going to be combustion and everything else. How do we know they're even combustion? How do we know it's not powered by something else? They could be fully electric, and they could be powered by nuclear, kind of like our rovers are, only a lot faster. We don't know that. But if they're designed in similar form, it doesn't surprise me. This almost kind of gives the story a little bit of credit about maybe we were like two planets living at the same time. We shared ideas, and we were bouncing back and forth. It would make sense. This is the reason why we're seeing these things that look very much like what we have here on Mars. Now, again, are they vehicles? They look like it. Are they? Don't know. Well, that's what I was saying earlier. I think, Pat, you're talking about this area here, right there in the lower left at this point. Yeah, I mean, there's actually stuff in that too. There's actually stuff in there. In fact, I went through this, and if you go to the original one that I have, because I have two. I got one. It's a follow-up of Smoking Gun on Mars, and something like that, where I literally go through that. It looks like there's another vehicle buried in here, and there's some other junk laying here. This is not a flat ground by any stretch. Even here, I'm trying to remember if this is. And look at the way this is actually going around this right here. It's like they put all kinds of, manipulation, everything else. Why they didn't black this out is beyond me. Try not to go in too far so it looks distorted. But it looks like actually a frame to a windshield type thing, like you'd see on a Jeep. It looks like the door is ripped off, and I mean, it just looks like a car to me. I mean, it doesn't. I don't think I've seen anything else get close to that as far as what it looks like. And this one's no different. Again, you can literally see the backside of this thing. And you can see the manipulation just running side to side here, horizontally. And you can see it through the actual manipulation. I don't know. Is it just a bunch of stuff laying there that looks like that? It's uncanny if it is. It's just to look just like that. Keep in mind, this one looks a little closer, even though it's higher up on the hill. This one's a little further away, so maybe that's why it looks smaller. I don't know. But either way, I thought it was pretty cool. Whoops. Hate it when the thing jumps on me like that. Alien views. The remains of a Mars 500 stock car race. It jumped down to the bottom here. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Pat Owen, you said, wow, that pic is so obvious. Incredible. And it's not pareidolia. Yeah, I mean, again, are they shaped in a way they look like vehicles? Okay, but clearly, whatever it is, it's not natural. There's just no way around that. Now, to me, in my eye, they look like vehicles. That's just the way I see it. Are they? Again, I don't know. No way to prove it. I wish there was. Jerry, they could very well be. They could be doing all hours, right? He said, Chris, the photo goons are targeting your machine-oriented mind. Ha ha. Yeah, I mean, Pat, you're just like everybody else, though. I mean, because Pat says, I see what's in there, and it's not rocks. And again, it's something that is not natural, and it's something that is intelligently made. So even if we're totally off base what these things are, it doesn't matter. It's clearly not natural, whatever it is. Johnny Paracos? Coz? I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that, so forgive me. It's like there was two different sized people living together. Well, again, I mean, you can see the rover itself in this photo, right? And you can kind of get an idea. You would tower over, the Spirit and the Opportunity rovers. You would tower over these things. So when you see this, you go, okay, so how far is that thing really from these objects, these anomalies here? How far are they? Again, here's the solar panels. You stand over this thing with no problem. And you just can walk right up there. They're just on the side here. To be honest with you, how far do you guys think these objects are away? Here's a rover. And again, let me do this. You would tower over this rover. Over this rover. You can see this. You literally stand way over this. Your waist would be way up here. You could literally walk over to this thing, or these things, on this hill. How large are they? Just a guesstimate. All right, Josh, do you head now? You said, okay, my dear friends. And Chris, thank you. 1:16 a.m. here and need to get out of bed on time. Have a good one. For all of us citizens, and very happy 4th of July. You do the same, Josh. Good to have you in there. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, Pat, I see the same thing. Yeah, you said you can see round wheels and tires. You can see it on that white one there. Yeah. Robert Morgan said, could Mars civilization been sacrificed for ours? Well, again, let's say there was two planets living simultaneously and Mars just happened to take a hit, and somehow in the past we were both, maybe we were going back and forth to planet, and we just had a lot of similarities to what we have to what we have. They had, and vice versa. I don't know. But what's really weird, like I said, is if it's a lot smaller. Now, don't get me wrong. We see these things off in the distance. They could be a lot bigger, obviously, once you walk up to them. But I can't imagine they're that big. It reminded me of the size of something that would be like a kid's car, the electric little cars, like the Jeeps they have, and the little fancy Mercedes and stuff like that, K-Wagon, whatever the wagons they have. But it seems like it's like you could walk over this thing and it'd be like toys to us. I don't know. Mimi, you said, I'm taking off here. Good night, everyone. Sleep well and stay safe. Until next time, bam. All right, Mimi, thanks for being here. Always a pleasure having you here. And we'll see you soon. So have yourself a good 4th, and we'll talk to you soon, like I said. Be safe. Yeah, that was a good point you made, Robert or Reed. You said makes you wonder about the old Egyptian hieroglyphics showing spacecraft. Totally agree. Absolutely agree with you. And that's a good possibility. I mean, when you see that, it looks like the helicopter, the submarine, and all these weird things. People say, well, nah, it's just the way they're sketched in there. They kind of give that illusion. I don't know. I mean, Tony, you said, regardless of what they are, they aren't. It's not natural. Yeah, that's what they're saying in some of the old ancient writings, Pat. You're saying Mars was a moon of Tiamat. That's what I hear. Now, whether it was or not. Yeah, that is the most interesting photo I've ever seen as far as what looked like vehicles, at least in my eyes, right? So, and you guys are pretty much agreeing, doing. I don't know what the hell that is, but yeah, they look like cars to me. Well, that's a really good point, Miss Heard. He said, I wonder if the UAPs that we see here on Earth are not taking some of these things and putting them on Mars. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, I thought they were, James. They're not actually footprints. They're actually, if you go back to it and watch this, they're actually the actual wheel prints of the rover. Because it couldn't go all the way up there, so it actually, you can see how it like dug in right here. And the weird thing about it's really, really soft in this wall of this crater, right? Pretty interesting. Now the crater didn't have to go drop down in a deep crater. It just could come in, and it had a slow, like a real good slope to it, and it just went into it. And of course, you can see the actual walls to this when you do this here. See that? And I believe there's more things in here too, if I was not mistaken. But see how they whiten everything out so you can't see anything in here? That's what it's all about, whiten it out. And like I said, I would have never noticed these until I just fine-tooth comb these things. Because like I said, if you were just looking at it like this, and of course there's no yellow box there, you're just looking at it, oh, that's pretty interesting. You didn't think nothing of it. And again, you're just kind of looking around and not seeing much of anything. Kind of like, okay, I can see a little bit of what looks like almost like strata here. And okay. And you just kind of, because you're seeing rocks and stuff, so you wouldn't think to even look up there. You just look like more rocks. And like I said, I think what caught my eyes, what one of you folks had said, why is that so smooth there? I'm looking at all these rocks and stuff on the edge here. It all looks like rocky terrain and everything else and boulders and whatnot. And yet you get over here, and it's completely smooth in that area. Now, as I zoomed to the area, I said, what is that? What the heck could that possibly be? Yeah. Again, I just found it interesting. I was like, that's pretty cool. UAEs Hope Mars orbiter spots elusive aurora on red planet. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting how they're getting these too. It's like showing this aurora. Of course, this is an artist depiction, but still, they're seeing auroras on Mars. And of course, the way they're talking about it is scientists know that the Earth's auroras are tied to the planet's global magnetic field and are triggered by charged particles from the sun. But the situation is a little different on Mars, where scientists have observed 3 types of auroras. One type of the aurora occurs exclusively on the daylight side of the planet. The other 2 occur on the night side. One of the nighttime phenomenon occurs only during extremely strong solar storms and lights up the whole disk. But the discrete aurora, the kind that scientists observed with Hope, isn't limited to periods of heavy solar activity, instead of occurring only in certain patches of the night side of Mars. City lights. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But, yeah. But the discrete aurora... Okay. The European Space Agency's Mars Express spacecraft and NASA's MAVEN orbiter have both observed this discrete aurora, but not very well. Compared to Hope, those missions have orbited closer to the surface of Mars and seen less of the planet at any given moment, and their instruments haven't been as powerful. EMUS data showing the discrete aurora on Mars. The brightest crescent marks the daylight side of the planet. The discrete aurora is the bright crackles seen in the night side of Mars. Yeah, so you can see it right here. If we do this, right here, you can see it like over here on this side here. And it turns out that finding different auroras on Mars than at Mars, on Earth rather, instead of on Earth, makes sense, since the magnetic situations of the 2 planets are very different. The discrete auroras are tied to an understanding of Mars that only began to really be fleshed out during the space age, because it turned out that Mars had a very unusual magnetic field. Dajan said, I'm not sure if that's how he pronounced his name, but whatever. They went there in the 1960s expecting to see something like Earth's magnetic field, and they found nothing. And then they realized, wait a second, it's kind of coming and going. What's going on? Because there is actually sections of magnetic fields, just very, very, it's just like just spots of it on Mars. And this is reason, excuse me, that's the reason why you can live and be safe on certain parts of Mars. It has actual certain areas of it, right? Robert Orr, thank you very much for your support, man. I do appreciate you. He said you said it makes you wonder about the old Egyptian hieroglyphs showing spacecrafts. Yeah, because remember we were just talking about it, where it showed it looked like either a helicopter, a submarine, some kind of weird spacecraft, and of course they shook it off like, no big deal. But is it possible that stuff existed back then? If you think about it, you go, well, why would they? Most people say, well, why would they do that? Because it makes no sense. We're talking about a stone structure. And why would you have high technology? We still build out of brick. Reinforced concrete. We got rebar enforced. We still build out of brick. Mortar and everything else. So, yeah, so it's not far-fetched to believe that, although that may not be the case, but it's not the point. Let me see here. Yeah, this is pretty sweet stuff. To me, it just seems like, I don't want to play too long because I don't even have to play sound anymore, and you get like a friggin' strike against you, which is ridiculous. But again, Robert, I do appreciate your support, brother. I really do. Let me see. Remember, in the past on Earth, there was giants. I was thinking about that, George. You make a great point. I'm wondering. Now, I know they said, remember we see like these skeletons, and some of them are so hoaxed, it's not even funny, right? They're talking about these skeletons that are like 10 feet tall and stuff like that. I'm wondering if, because we still see like indigenous people on some of these islands, but they're very, very short. I wonder if we were the giants at some point. And I don't mean the giants, but we were giants and we came here. And for some reason, the ones that are on Mars are still small, and maybe we came from somewhere else and landed on here, and of course we took over the planet, which was smaller people. And then I said, well, that theory kind of goes out the window because if you think about it, look at the size of the structures of like the Egyptians and stuff like that. Very, very large, right? You go next to these things, they're absolutely insanely large. And, so I don't think that's the case. But why do we, like I said, we see ourselves and then look at things like on Mars and you go, why does it look so darn small? So I don't know. It's just a weird mystery. And I think they can mess with your eyeballs by doing that, by going, when you look at it again from like the rover, if it's in the photo, you look at the rover and you go, okay, I know how big the rover is, and if I was standing next to it, if I could walk over there, hell, these things are not that big. They're not that big at all. So what gives? So and like I said, if they zoom into it, if the vehicle, meaning the actual rover, is not in the photo, and they zoom into this particular thing, are they very large or are they very small? Almost give you the illusion that they're very large, but maybe they're not, or they are the same side as the stuff we use, right? Could be the same size. We don't know. Peter Katzer, what's going on? He says, was Mars a lot closer to Earth, a different orbit, a comet collision? That's a good possibility. It's happened before where it's knocked planets out of orbits and kind of shifted them around and put them in a slightly different orbit. So that's a good possibility. Thousands of years ago, the sun was, it was a lot better, it was stronger, I believe. I think they said it's kind of diminishing, and it's actually expanding because, at some point it's going to become just so large, just gobble up every planet in the solar system. But of course, there'll be millions of years of that. But at some point, it was probably hotter, and of course, Mars had more life on it. Meaning, it could be even if it's simply just organics, it could very well have been, right? I don't know. It's a good possibility they were closer and could have been different. And who knows? And of course, they're showing the weird auroras on Mars. Let me see this here. I don't know if this is another artist depiction or not, but I can imagine what the stars look like on Mars, though, at night, right? No dust flying in the air. Must be insanely awesome. There's no, light pollution, none of that. It must be awesome to be able to see that. Just if you could literally lay on the surface and look up at the sky and the stars and the sky itself, and just, wow, must be awesome. It's basically the same thing as saying about the auroras. You guys get the links if you're interested or not. It's good to see. You don't need that one. I was going to check out this pan. This is what I found was funny. Pan time. This was cool because when I see... it never ceases to amaze me. I love the idea of people looking at these photos and these pans, but for some reason, I don't know what it is. Here's a good example. Now, it's good to question a shape of anything if it looks different than its surroundings, but does anybody see that as anything else other than a rock? I don't know. Let me just see here. Great for all you said. Will there be another a Russian Mars rover? There's not even one there yet. What it is it's just an orbiter, from what I understand. Again, it was about a year and a half, probably going almost 2 years now, that they sent one. They said they were sending one. You never heard another word about it, ever. That was it. So, and I believe it's strictly an orbiter. So, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Pat. He said, I feel insulted and kind of ripped off of seeing these obvious intelligent design through these manipulated photos. They really think we are stupid and gullible. Well, and that's the thing. You got to read between the lines because a lot of these, they're right there in your face. Now, again, I was just saying about this. I said, okay, somebody felt that important to do that. Now, there is some manipulation on the right-hand side of this so-called rock, whatever this is. So I'm not sure what they were trying to black out of that. We'll just take out. Okay. Okay, there's an object right here. Not sure what to make of that. Okay. I think there's a third one. Where's the third one at? Oh, it's way up here. Oh, there's actually 4. Okay. Okay, so we've seen this. Okay, there's a sliver in the rock. It looks like a crack in the rock or whatever that may be, or just a darker area. I'm not sure what to make of that. Then there was one up on this hill right here. Again, I think the square here is more important than what they squared off here. What I don't understand, how they didn't see this. When you look at this stuff right here, look at this mess right here. I'm seeing what looks like something right here. It looks like it could be more mechanical or something laying right here on the ground on this slope. Something's been, like, it looks like it's been crushed or broken to pieces sitting right there, right? Even this funky looking rock up here, the way that thing's shaped. But still, when I look at this, this looks more of something I would circle and say, what is that? I mean, maybe it's a group of rocks. I don't know. But it doesn't look that way. Because you can see something right here. It almost looks like it's this really wide or oval piece or opening. And then we see something right here. If you look right here, there's pieces of something. And it has this round piece, square piece right here. And then when you look at the whole thing, it looks like something mechanical has been busted to pieces. And yet they don't circle that. I'm confused. But right here, this other white piece here, I'll put these in the center because that gets too blurry right there. And you see where just a little bit of actual color right there. And then they made it, they went over it with some kind of manipulation right there. What else we get up here? Whoop. See, you go too close and it just goes to crap right here. Again, look at these lines here, the way these things go across. It's not a straight line. There's another one right here. Almost like they got a curvature to them. See them? Actually looks like there's some kind of teeth looking stuff right here. But anyway, you can see that kind of like got a curvature, that one and the one right here. I don't know. Let me see. Jerry Lehane, you said the whitening hides fossils as the craters were watering holes. The animals go to die. Well, they'll whiten a lot of areas, bring up this exposure big time, or use a brightening tool, whatever it is that they use. And they use it just to basically go over something they don't want you to see. Take out all of the, any kind of detail to the item, right? Something right there looks like some kind of like capsule type thing. I'm not sure what to make of that. It almost looks like it's got a square base to it underneath it. But it's not very clear. I don't understand that. Let me see. I'm going to have to let Nev know. Sharpen these things up, man. Got an itch I can't get rid of. I hate when that happens. But, and there's another pan I've looked at where there's something totally hidden in here. There's something right here. You can see like these straight lines going across up here. Now, is it nothing more than kind of weathering? It could be. I don't think so, though. I'm seeing what looks like something rectangular right here. See the line coming down like this and then going across? Right there. Some other shapes in here. Way this is doing this. I forget one of the subs they were saying, man, you got to stop. You keep looking for these lines. I said, listen, I'm not going to stop looking for the lines. The lines tell all. That's what, you can hide things with color, brightness, darkness, but the lines are what tell all. And when you see the lines, you go, okay, I'm going to jump on this and see if there's anything of any value because you can see the shape of the line. What is the shape making? And does it have any substance to it, right? And that's what it's all about. Yep. Like Noodle said, 786 Otto is in the house. Is finally here. Let's start over. There we go. Appreciate it there, Otto. Mr. 786 Otto. Appreciate you, brother. I do appreciate it. Noodles was here. I like that. Yeah, good to see you there, 786 Otto. Yeah, it must just get a little late, but hey, better late than ever. Sometimes, you got to do things, just bam. I've done that where I was on a couple of these other live feeds. I'm like, man, just make it in there, guys. They're like, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Claudia with a chance at UFOs. What's going on? Good to have you in there. You say, evening, Chris, in chat. Just got here. What are we looking at tonight? Yeah, we just decided to go over Pan before we jump on off this. Trying to see if there's anything. Like I said, they were looking at these weird little, you can see where they've made these little markers where they're looking at something, and I'm not sure what to make of it. And you really can't zoom into it too much because you get a lot of blurring on here, so I'm going to have to tell them, sharpen your stuff up, will you? Again, I'm not sure what this is here, but I was more surprised they didn't check off this, or at least square this piece of what looks like a square pot right there, and see where they went over right here, because you can still see that white line going through this in like tannish manipulation. I'm surprised they didn't just do the whole thing or whatever. I don't know. But what I was surprised at is they didn't look at this here, where it looks like some kind of mechanical junk laying on the side of this hill. I'm not sure why they didn't jump on that. Because again, you can see what looks like these. I'm not sure what these are. Let's say there was some kind of, vines or wires or something, but you can see it running off the side of these things. And you can see these other items right here. Right in there, doing this. See that? 90-degree angle. Got this piece right here with this small round dot type thing. See that? A round circle object on it. Not sure what to make of that. Robert, thank you again for your support, brother. I do appreciate you. That's awesome. He said, regarding giants, the Nephilim are grown from the fetus. Modern science have already removed the uterus to grow a Nephilim. The world is a mad place. Yeah, I've heard about that too. They're saying like basically women don't even need men anymore. What is it? Something like taking it from bone marrow or something like that. I went, okay, that's a little odd. I don't know how that works, but okay. But either way, it's just, yeah. It's like now we're playing God here now, right? Yeah, I mean, but technology, I mean, don't get me wrong, if it's used for bad, it's not a good thing, right? But I mean, if it's used for good, because sometimes it's very, they can use it for medical reasons and stuff like that, and it helps out big time. Yeah, because you can grow cells in the lab and stuff like that, and it helps if, you need skin grafts and all kinds of other stuff. So it helps big time, right? But, yeah, I mean, I hate to even think about, because you said about, how you can, it's grown in the fetus. You know how they're literally, remember they had the cloning, they were doing all kinds of cloning with the sheep and everything else, Dolly the sheep, I think it was. They had all kinds of weird stuff going on. God only knows what they've done now, because, they can clone a person. We already know that. But what else have they done? Have they tried to mix like certain animals with, people and, try to make them a super predator or some kind of weird, something for a soldier or something like you always see in these sci-fi movies sometimes. I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, we never stop. We always try to push the envelope. I don't care if it's like a land speed record or just technology. Push it. And that's what we do. That's what man does. They want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Can we make it faster, better, stronger? So, yeah. Again, Robert, thank you very much for your support, brother. I do appreciate it. And, like I said, and Otto, you the same, and anybody else has supported the channel, whether it's just a verbal or monetary, you guys are awesome, and I do appreciate it. I like that Otto says, I was here just sitting quiet. Nothing wrong with that, man. Good to have you in there regardless. But, I mean, like I said, we always push the envelope. I mean, just so many things we've done, and it's for a lot of good, you know what I mean? That's how you get newer technology. We progress and stuff like that, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's used for good, and as long as we don't go to the point where we really start doing something extremely stupid. Here's a perfect example. Why do we have this white stuff right underneath this rock that's got a shadow under it? Shouldn't that be all completely dark under there? And yet, what's going on there? That's kind of odd. You can see a white sloping down here in the front, too. Maybe they did that to get rid of whatever's underneath there. You would have seen it pretty easy. Like I said, they love to blend a lot of things, and they got a rock mimicking software where they could take the stuff out. Make it turn anything into a rock. I've seen transparent rocks. And how you have transparent rock on Mars is beyond me. Mother Nature must be really tricky on Mars, guys. Yeah. Again, I'm not sure what they were looking at there. Some of these rocks are just really interesting looking rocks. And some of these, I noticed some people come to the channel and say, no matter what you show them, it's a rock. Okay. Listen, if that's what you believe, then, then to you it's a rock. But, nope. I've seen a lot of these hillsides, nothing but artificial. Nothing but garbage. And, just the way this thing's shaped. Look at the way this thing goes. It goes up, and it has this lump on it, and then it goes back over. And look at the area right here. It kind of goes like this. Got this like lip type thing, comes down right here, almost has a 90-degree angle right there. And yet it's made to look like a rock, but there's something protruding out of this thing. You can see it. Look at this white piece right here. You can see the white right underneath this. I'll put it right directly in the middle of the screen. Right here. White, and then the rest of it's all this same color thrown all over everything. Right there and right here. Yeah, pretty much. They rockify the images, yeah. Like I said, I was told a long time ago, they got rock mimicking software. And they can pretty much take anything and change it into what looks like a rock. Now, are there rocks here? Of course. Absolutely. Look at this right here at the top. Very, very, look like they're really taking out. Look at these vertical lines in here. But look at the lines right here in the back. You have something that looks like it's oval. You can see the line of it, the outline right here. Right there, and then you get these lines going towards the back. I'm willing to bet that's not natural. None of that right there is natural at the top of this. This thing right here on the side of the hill almost looks like it has a round base to it. You can see like a half, three-quarter round base at the bottom of it. Oh, it's a statue face. No, I don't know. There's something right there that may be an artifact of the camera. Let me see something. Let me go back. Sometimes you can find it. And another photo. Another part of the photo. Because keep in mind, this is a pan, so these are stitched together. There it is right there. See it? So this is an artifact of the photo. Or the camera, rather. There it is again, right here. So, sometimes people get, fool, look at UFO. It's not, man. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes people have found stuff in a photo because they take them like in second increments. Like it'll take it like, let's say it goes boom, takes a snapshot. 10 seconds later or a minute later, take another snapshot of the same area, and the object's not there. And it's the same camera. Well, then clearly you know it's something else. But there's some of these cameras, like the nav cam, some of them on some of these rovers, on the rovers, they'll have an artifact, something like it could be a dead pixel, and whatever photo it takes, it just happens to, again, here it is here. It's got a flying bean. Now, it's just weird, crazy stuff. Renee Von Oosterhood, you said, hello, Chris, in chat. Sorry very much late. Fell asleep while watching your European football championships. Have seen Belgium versus Italy, but fell asleep in the last 15 minutes. Oh, that's not good. All right, Scourge, 1971. You said, got to get to the bowling. You all have a nice night and a happy 4th of July. You do the same. Be safe. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, Kurt Urbanus, you said the anomaly rather is only some dust on the lens, and a lot of times that's all it is. But you know what I always thought of, and I said this before. So let me get this right. They're trying to put the most high-tech cameras on these rovers, on these landers, and I get that because you want the best technology to have the clearest photos, right? Of course, we see garbage, and they see the clearest. But you would think they'd have like small air jets on the side of these lenses on the outside. Nothing that will scratch it, but just enough to just blow a quick burst of air and clean them off when they do, in fact, get something on the lens. And it would make sense to do that. And they probably do. They never stated that, but maybe they do. Because I would think that's the eyes of that machine. So it's kind of like your windshield wiper, or your windscreen, as a lot of folks in the UK call it, that if you get something on the window, you can easily wipe it away. Well, on there, because the camera lens is so much smaller, how about just a small, air valve or some kind of air line going just a shot of air just to blow it off. And that's pretty much it. It would make sense to me to do that. Yeah, these are funny looking rocks, folks. And again, there's a lot of rocks here. I mean, don't get me wrong. How about this one here? That's a nice little wall. That's what it looks like, a little wall there. But something tells me that's been put there to hide something else. But doesn't it still question, even if you can't... See, I guess they look at it this way. Listen, they go, we don't care if they go, oh, look, it's a stone wall. As long as they don't see the technology that may be actually lying there. So they'd rather see you see that and go, well, maybe it's just happens to be a rock the way it broke off at some point thousands of years ago, whatever. It just happened to be this stone rock, or this stone and the shape of this laying here, when clearly it's not. It's something else. This cluster of rocks looks rather interesting, especially when it has like this nice square right here. Oh, yeah. It's kind of weird how it has this piece right here. Let me do this. Let me see if this is any better doing it this way. Yeah, it's a little better right there. You can see this piece right here in the middle, absolute right there in the center. The circle has these two round pieces, at least it looks that way, right there. And right next to it, to the left of it, is right there, and it's got that weird shape. Isn't it? Not sure what that is. Looks like something's there, and it looks like there's a shadow there as opposed to an actual rock. But it looks like something's just, it's like whitish. Might be just the way the shadows and the way it's just playing. The sunlight's playing on it there. So I don't know what the hell that is, but looks like it has this opening here. There's something stuck in this opening. Almost looks like a bottle. Looks like it has a neck to it right there. Has this straight piece going across in the back. What do you guys think of that? Pretty interesting. Peter Katzler, you said NASA just treat us like children. Mm-hmm. Kurt Urbanus, you said yes, an air jet cleaner. Yeah, I'm just thinking like just a simple air, just basically a burst of air. Two little air lines coming out of each side, and that's it. That's all it needs. Just enough to blow the stuff off, right? Oh, I guarantee it, James. You said, Chris, I bet there are structures underneath that fake gray blur on the surface. Yeah, because a lot of this stuff is crap. You guys know that. You know, we've seen it many times where things are just really weird, unusual rocks, and they'll just go, well, you know, NASA's answer is, well, it's your pareidolia. Really. Because I see an awful lot of this pareidolia then, things that don't look natural. And again, we don't have to know what these things are. All we have to know is that, well, clearly that doesn't look natural, you know. Sean Turner, thank you very much for your support, brother. I do appreciate you. You said, enjoy looking at rocks with you and a great group of people in the stream. My rocks have tubes, right angles, and windows too. Yeah, I mean, just all kinds of crazy looking things that even if it looks like a rock, why do they have these details in the rock? Well, again, it's almost like they're either CGI does this by computer and somehow it misses a lot of this stuff, and you can just pull it right out, and that's the whole point. That's why I like doing these things, because there's a lot of crazy things in there that just doesn't look natural. No, wait a minute. There's something small over here. What do they see over here? Nothing. Oh, I'm not even sure what they're looking at here. Oops, let me see what that is. Weird how it's got that little feature of just a little white or yellow rock sitting right there. But look at this right on the side of it. Just notice that. Try to put it right in the middle of the screen. Well, maybe it's just the way this thing's just shaped on the side of it. But you can see something that looks like it has a square bottom to it right there. Right there. There's another square piece right here. Not sure what to make of that. Again, I don't care about straight lines. You can always have, like I said, there's erosion, there's things like that. That makes sense to me. But when you have a bunch of straight or square pieces, like this one right here underneath, you can just see the little bit lighter piece right there. Looks like it has a 90-degree angle, has a corner to it, and then you get this kind of manipulation going right over the center to try to hide. So you don't see the whole piece, you just see little bits and pieces. And that's what most of the time you pull out of here. This is the reason why you have to actually enhance a photo so you get the whole object out of it instead of just a piece of it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah, you like that, Robert? I like the remark, rock's faker than Subway's tuna. Pretty much. Yeah. Ken K, you taking off? He said, have a good night. All from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm off to watch an Earth anomaly. How is Vegas even in the Stanley Cup Finals? Go Canadians. Gerda Bonner, she said, a cylinder plus a box. Oh, yeah. You know, and that's why it blends so well in here that people automatically assume, no, they're just rocks. They're just funky-looking rocks. Are you sure? Awful lot of bright pieces in this area. Somebody once said before, they said, maybe it's a bunch of gold laying on the surface. And that could very well be. What is this thing? Got some pieces that stretch right out. See that? Let's see, one over here to the right, and one's a little bit closer to the, like almost towards us or the camera. Well, I don't know what the hell that thing is. I have a feeling it's just going to distort because the more you zoom in, it's right there. Has this little gray round circle right there. What do you guys make of that? Tony Gibbs, you said the fact that this isn't even mentioned in passing on daily news shows why NASA doesn't care what we find. Well, Chris finds. Yeah, I mean, you think this would be all over the news. I'll have to get a hold of some of these senators, especially Mr. Reed there, who is actually saying that they are covering up what's really going on about UFOs and stuff like that. Interesting. Up to right there. The round circle on it there. I see something almost looks like a square or something right there. Something. Look at the way this is. I mean, come on. You see where they really went to town to try to hide whatever's right in this area right here. I mean, you know, a lot of people, well, apparently you don't, you've never been outside and seen mountains. I live in a mountainous state. What are you talking about? I can tell when something looks so artificial that it doesn't even look like a rock anymore. It just, you know, rocks are one thing, but my God, you're not going to tell me you're going to see that on Earth that looks like that? And they'll say, well, it's a different planet. Well, I get that. But they also said it was a lot like Earth at one time. Now, don't get me wrong, over X amount of years, you know, you got wind erosion and everything else. Okay. Still doesn't take the fact out of it that a lot of this still looks weird. Like I said, look at these weird lines up in here. And you get this so-called mound on top of it. See the way this thing goes right here? It's really blurry right there. Just noticed that too. A little bit more blurry than the side here, but again, just the way the thing is cut out has this nice curvature right there. Another kind of arched line there. Oh, I guarantee there's a bunch of crap in here, guys. Almost guarantee it. What's this right here? Is this the one we looked at earlier? Looks like another box. Look at this thing right here. These pieces right here in the middle of the circle. There's one right here, like a lighter piece. It's rectangular. Not sure what's on top of that. Let's zoom in just a hair bit more. Right there. Looks like there's whiter pieces on top of it. Looks like another rectangular box type thing. Right there. This object right there. Have something that comes off the side of it. Almost looks like some kind of weird piping conduit or something like that coming out of that. Right there. Not sure what to make of that. Kind of interesting. What do you guys think of that? Paulie Mac, yeah, you're right about that. He said they let us see enough just to keep us interested. Pretty much. Martin Wolf, right. You're right about that. We all know NASA's full of shite. Absolutely. Thank you very much there, James. Craig, I do appreciate you. The cloth for the CGI boys' glasses, Chris. Honestly. Yeah, I mean, again, it's like they don't even, like, proof view these things after. I mean, they do, because clearly they do a great job of it. And they do everything they can to hide this stuff. Now, some of these things that I said, well, maybe is it possible that some of this stuff is encrusted, right? So you'll have, like, pieces of this object still sticking out, and most of it's encrusted because there is moisture on the in Gale Crater and stuff like that, and around the planet. So is it possible that some of this is like it gets wet, then gets dusty, wet and dusty, and then it gets encrusted full of the surrounding soil and sand, and that's what we see? Sure. I'll bet somebody, if you guys, yeah, right here. Look at this. Wow. Can you guys, like, see this? This is cool. It looks like it has, like, a surrounding wall here. Like, it's an open, like, almost rectangular shape right here. Right there. And there's some things inside this. Something in the back. You can actually see through this manipulation. Again, right here. Oh, yeah. It said, folks, these are not hills. Never have been. Yeah, like we were talking about this crap. Look at this. What is that? Come on. You can literally see what the line actually is. It's like a straight line. Soil doesn't do that. And neither do the hills or the mountains on the moon. And you'll see that, like I said, in the next video coming up, that how do you have, if you look at a hill from a distance, you should not see a line that is at the bottom of a hill. What does that? You should not see a line because everything should be blending, right? You got the mountain and it goes right into the soil, and of course it's part of the ground, right? But yet you see lines at the very base of the hill. Is it something they drew in? A very good possibility, right? Oh, yeah. This is good. Might have to rip that apart, folks. Maybe some of you guys that are all over this stuff, too. Screen grab it. I'll give you the link to it. You can see it right there. Just type this in there. MSL 2820 MR. It'll bring you right to it. Screenshot this and go through this thing. Enhance it. Promise you there's stuff in there that should not be there. Yeah, Pat, that's all they are. And the intelligent design rocks. Michael Stark, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Looks like a lower control arm from a Honda. Ooh, that could be. I think you're talking about the other piece that were on the ground. Yeah, actually did look like that too, didn't it? Peter Katzer, you said, so the pyramids on Mars are a bunch of rocks? I don't think so. Well, you're right. I don't believe that they are either. Don't think so either. Miss Hair, the rocks we saw a little while ago look like cars. Fred Flintstone cars. There you guys go. That's what I'm talking about. NASA Space Cowboys. Oh, yeah. Thomas Rice, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. Thank you very much for your support, brother. As always, he said, rocks everywhere, and not a part in sight. Wow. Thank you, Chris. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they must think the average person is like completely stupid. But here's the thing. You and I, meaning everybody in this group, we're not like the average person because we're just into this kind of thing. So now that we're looking at these things, we can actually pretty much see through it. You can literally see the darkness a little bit here and there and see whatever's in there. Look at this. You can see something's here. That's just not a mountain. That's all there is to it. And you see other things on this side too. Look at this. So if you have this question in mind, when you see these lines and these weird looking things, don't be afraid to rip these apart. Either take a part of this, just screenshot it and take it over to Photoshop and rip it apart. That's what it's all about. And bring out the darker areas that are supposed to be in this photo, or in this area of the photo. And if there's something in it, great. If there isn't, next. It's as simple as that. But I can almost tell you right now, this thing's all up in that area. I can just see it. Again, Thomas Rice, thank you very much, sir, for your support. I got to fix a power steering leak on my Honda. Hey, don't laugh. I had a Honda. I wish I still had my Honda. It was a Honda Matic 1200, 1979. Looked like a clown car. Looked like 20 clowns can come out of it. Love that little car. Wish I had it today. Hell, I could put $10 and fill the tank. Mags K said the background has potential. Oh, I guarantee it. Just look at it. It has a giant rectangular area on a mountain. And then you can see something inside this right here. That's just crazy. Again, that's how you see these things. You just train your eyes to go, okay, I see a shape. Is there anything in there? Let me rip it apart and find out. You might find, it's too manipulated to where you can't pull anything out of it, but you might get better shapes out of it. And then there's times where you're just like, you're astounded, like I was at this next moon video. I was just like, there's probably nothing in here. I know these hills are not hills, but let me just see, because they usually put it pretty dense where you cannot see any of it and can't pull it out. Well, a lot of this came out this time. A lot of it's still manipulated, but a lot of it came out, and I was like, wow, that is wild. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Tommy. You said, by the way, the diehard skeptic invented the term pareidolia. Yeah. Or it's just NASA. It's just swamp gas. It'll be all right. H-Toss1AV said the lines again. Exactly. Noodle said the dark stuff better not be vast fields of solar ejecta in the form of tiny silica spheroids. That would be evidence that the sun lights atmospheres on fire when it burps silicon. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, Pat. Yeah, you said the manipulation is their lie to us. Yep. Miss Here, you said that is crap for sure, Chris. It is so obvious. I mean, I get this. Just keep the photo where it's out. Just look at it. I mean, I can look at that and say that's a structure. There's structures within structures in there, or it's some kind of giant machine or whatever the heck this thing may be. It does not look like it's something natural. And look at the way they put the yellowish over it and everything else. Why isn't it the same color as the rest of the hill? That's what's really mind-boggling. But they wanted to take out the darker areas so you didn't see shadows, maybe dark lines to these things or whatever it may be. So therefore, put it all the same color. Put it all the same color. And therefore, it'll blend it in. And there you go. Gertabana says these terrains are actually covered plateaus. Could very well be. What part are you seeing that, Mags? You said a big arch up there and what looks like a tower, Chris. I think I see what you're talking about, but I'm not entirely sure. I can actually see stuff all on the right-hand side here. Look at this. Shapes of round pieces here. You can see it on the left. Oh, yeah, there's definitely a lot more to this than what we're seeing here. You like that, huh, Miss Here? Intelligent design rocks. Oh, my God, that is so funny. Well, that's what they are. Mars is really crafty with their rocks. They like to make things look like, maybe structures and stuff like that. It's just, it's just trickery. Pat Owen says, pareidolia, conspiracy theory. Yep. Nice, James. He said, Chris, I have a Honda Accord. It's a 2.2 turbo diesel. And I have a very heavy boot, LOL. Ain't nothing wrong with a good turbo diesel. I had an old diesel Rabbit, Volkswagen Rabbit. Good little car. You get 50 miles in a gallon out of the thing. And that was back in, it was an 87, I think. Roy Tallow says, some of those rocks look like parts. Well, that's the thing. A lot of times we'll get these rocks. Again, and like I said, I'm not entirely sure, but I know they have a CGI department. So I don't know if it goes through an AI, basically, program first. It pretty much goes through it very slowly. It takes out anything that looks like that could be intelligent design. And then, of course, they go to town and they do their thing to it. And, yeah, pretty much take out anything that looks like it is intelligently designed. And that's pretty much the way they do that. H-Stores 1AV said a lot of runoff in front, like a flow of water once. Yeah, I seen that too. Yeah, I mean, wow. I just love to be able to see these things without any kind of manipulation. That must be just wild to see. And Jerry Lehane, you said, I used to say that the image goons were in Pine Gap, Australia military and cleansed before NASA, JPL, received them. Well, that's a good possibility. I think what it is, it may actually be done from the rover a little bit. It's either going to encrypt it so you cannot receive it and, actually see the real photo, or it just does a quick overlay over the top of the photo, so in case you get it, maybe it's embedded with different information that distorts the photo. So even if you were to intercept the signal, which you can't, it's highly encrypted. But let's say you did, okay, you get the photo, it just looked like a bunch of mumbo jumbo, but they have a program that just lifts that extra information out of there so they can actually see the photo clearly. You can bet they're doing some kind of crazy thing like that just so you and I, or some kind of hacker, going to get into it and actually mess with it, right? Edward B. said, could they be covering fossilized coral reef structures? Sure, they could be doing that too. Like I said, I mean, it's almost like they don't want you to know anything was on this planet, meaning even organics. I don't get it. I guess, again, if you were to say, okay, there was plants on the planet, okay, the first thing people would stop thinking, okay, so what did the plants live on? Of course, it's like a tree, and carbon and stuff like that, and you need water and everything else. But then you say, okay, your other conclusion, and that doesn't mean it's got to be that conclusion, but you say, okay, was there any other plants? Meaning, Was there something that other animals fed off of? Is there something else? I mean, you just don't know, right? Was there insects? And then, of course, they go, oh, we don't want to open up a giant can of worms. Of course, those probably lived on the planet, too. Don't mind me, folks. I'm having a piece of chocolate. Jerry Lehane, you said, when I received it of image stacking, he used a system you described, 1987. Well, we already know the actual rover does this, right? Curiosity rover, and I'm sure this Perseverance does the same thing. Again, if we were looking at this area, according to NASA, the image stack for a reason. And the reason for that is because they want both the foreground and the background to be clear. So they might take 4 photos of this particular area. So now the foreground is crystal clear, the midground is crystal clear, and so is in the background. And they combine and stack these images to give you a full focused photo. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not seeing anything focused here, because it's basically been manipulated to death, and it's hard to see anything. Now the chocolate's going to kill me, and that'll be the end of that. But when they stack it, and the first thing I thought of is it's not to get these things in focus. It's got nothing to do with that at all. I think, now it might have started out that way, and then maybe they do use it for that purpose, but I think it's now they can stack whatever they want. Again, the rover can stack something on top of it, like a digital something or other, to distort the photo or to encrypt the photo somehow so that, again, if it's intercepted, they won't be able to make heads or tails out of it. But again, they got the software to basically decrypt and bring out the actual photo, so therefore they can see it. And then, of course, they go to town on it when they want to rip it to pieces and censor it and whatever else they want to do, right? All right, let me see here. All right, Pete. Good to see you there. Pete's Vlogs is taking over. All right, guys. I'm out. See you next Friday. All right, Pete. You have yourself a good one there. Have a good 4th. Be safe. See you then. All right, Max K. You said dark background in the middle. There's a lighter mound. And there's an arch next to it, and there looks like a tower. Okay, I think that's... Okay. I think you're talking about right over here, right? Or you're talking about the top, because it looks like there's something up here as well. Right here, right here. Dark background in the middle, right there. There's a lighter mound, so I don't know if you mean from here or on this one here, but you're saying in the back. And there's an arch, and next to it looks like there's a tower. You can see all kinds of shapes in this, guys. Wow, this is crazy. Looks like things coming down from other places. Just, again, lines tell all. Like I said, I had one person telling me, the lines, stop wasting time with lines. And, they're saying sometimes you're missing the obvious. No, I don't want to, listen, the obvious is too obvious, right? In other words, we can see it pretty easy. I want to see the stuff that's being hidden and draw that out. That's what's fascinating to me. That's what I like ripping apart. Now, look at this from a distance. You can see the way that thing is all rectangular shaped and got all the kind of mounds around it. Why they didn't put this the same color as the other very top of it is beyond me. I just noticed this too. Look at over here. Let me just back up a little. You can see what looks like squares on the top of this hill. See this right here? Right here. It's very faint, but you can see something right there. There's lines coming down this. Right there. You can just see the outer edge of it. Right there. There's a 90-degree angle right there. See this right here? And it looks like it almost kind of goes to the corner of this. And it just has that nice top to it, too. See that? Oh, yeah. Look at this information. Been totally redacted and covered up in here. This is just nuts, man. And again, if you see that, look at this. To me looks like a machine now. The more I look at over there to the left, again, I see machine parts laying there. And it wouldn't be too far-fetched, especially if there's some kind of weird part of a city or something else sitting right here. Keylogger said, if you all want to see some cool lunar stuff, get the app Moon Atlas. If you zoom in all the way and then look through a powerful lens of your magnifier, usually the little one built into the bigger one. Yeah, because I've got the same thing here. Definitely nice to have. The only thing I didn't like, there's one guy that told me one time, he says, what the heck did he say? Oh, you're not seeing this right. Here's a high quality, high definition photo. And it was like a giant moon put together, meaning it was all mapped out, stitched together, and it looked like super quality. I'm like, oh my God. And the guy was like totally an ass about it, right? So I zoom into this thing, and as I zoomed in, as far as I could zoom in, suddenly you could see all the areas they're squared off and everything else, where they literally broke each part of this down, did whatever they had to do to it, and then they made it, then they stitched it all together to make this big giant moon, or at least a moon photo. So I said to him, have a look at this part here and this part here. Does that not look super blurred out compared to everything around it? I never heard another thing from him. So I'm not saying all photos are like that. I'm just saying, because like you said, Key Largo, you can see some crazy things on some of these. Like you said, the Moon Atlas 3D. Yeah, absolutely. James Cragen said, Chris, the vids this week are just fantastic, man. Plus, up on the right-hand side of what we were looking at right now, there's a square and Greek Colosseum-shaped structures dead center of that side. Evan B. said, show the moon photos? We showed one earlier that was had done a while back. We got another one coming up, too, as far as like another moon video, so yeah. Noodles, death by chocolate is a serious issue. Well, it's a dove chocolate, so basically I got killed by a dove. That's not good. Oh, yeah. There you go, William. There are more lines there than a Hunter Biden party. I don't know. It might be pretty close. Oh, sorry, Elaine. He said, I want some chocolate now. I got an 85% and 100%. One with jelly and popping candy bits. What should I have? Any one of them's good. Here said, I just had a few chocolate chip cookies. I actually have one of those, too. I have to eat that when I get off this. I'm like, my stomach's going, feed me now. Thomas, just a warning, I'll be back, but I'll be back. Everybody run before he gets back. Hurry up. Key Lago, you said, I wonder if it's fake or not. Are you talking about the photo itself, or what are you talking about? Well, if you believe it's the photo itself, the pan we're looking at, I believe the photo is real. And I just seen it what you're talking about, Mags, right here. I can see that right there. It starts to take a different form when you zoom into it. See it right there? It kind of looks like, right there, I can see what looks like that arch you're talking about right there. And when you zoom in, it kind of breaks it apart, but you still see it right there going up, right here. I think we're going to have to rip this apart. What do you guys think? Yeah, we'll have to do that. No doubt about it. And then you guys will be able to do the same. I know a lot of you folks are doing the same thing. Yeah, Cherry Lane, yeah. It's not inconceivable that Mars Anomalies becomes more famous for moon discoveries. Well, again, I call it Mars Anomalies and beyond, so we can pretty much do anything. But like I said, I enjoy doing both because it's something, space agency are basically obsessed with, right? They just want to go there, spending billions of dollars. And again, it's nothing more than just a rocky, dusty planet. Yeah. So, they just want to see that, they want to spend all that money that they don't really need to spend to go see dust and rocks. What do you think of that? It's just stupid, man, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't blame some people. Well, I do, because they're looking at some of these photos. But you ever hear these people say, "Well, I wish they'd fix this planet first, and before they go to Mars." Now they make a great point because God knows we need it, right? There's a lot of homeless in the world and everything else. You just look at some of the Californian areas where there's tent cities everywhere. But the whole point is there's a lot of people like that and around the world that are either starving, homeless, whatever it may be, and a lot of it just lately was because of COVID and losing their business. And I think you were saying that earlier, Miss Heard, about that, how sad it is, and people losing, their jobs, their livelihoods, and everything else. And, so I understand what people are talking about, but when they see what's in these photos, you'll understand why these people are going after these like pit bulls, because there's things that, there's technology, there's knowledge we can learn from this planet, and also what we found on the moon. And this is probably the reason why we're leaping by leaps and bounds as far as technology. Maybe a really good reason why, right? And it would not surprise me. James Gregan taking off. Chris and everyone tonight. Great hangout again and great comments from everyone, like always. So take care and be safe, and we will talk soon, my friends. All right, James, have yourself a good one, brother. Thanks for being here. Always appreciated. Good to see you here. Be safe. Have a good 4th. I'm not sure where you guys are at, but if you're here anybody here in the States, have yourself a good 4th. Oh, yeah. Well, don't jump in there too long, Pat. I was going to say Pat because it just jumped up and said Pat, but Noodles. He said, got to jump in the pool, but I'll be listening. Be right back. Well, we are going to be jumping off this as well. Got a few more minutes, but we're pretty much going to dive off of this ourselves. And, another great hangout, folks. Always awesome. Always cool to just chill with you guys after a long week. I still got to work tomorrow, but it's usually not too bad. And, but yeah, definitely awesome. It's good to just hang with you guys. But anybody here in the States or anybody celebrating the 4th, be safe, especially if you're lighting these things off. Some people go crazy when they lose a hand or two. Yeah. I remember back in the day we used to play with quarter sticks of dynamite, stuff like that. So it was actually a lot of fun. But yeah, they kind of frown on that now, especially when you're knocking out street lights and everything else with them. Yeah, they don't really care for that too much. But now they got, sparklers and stuff like that. Some things it's not going to be completely kill kids and stuff like that. But you can still get your hands on some stuff that's pretty bad. So just be careful with that stuff. If you're doing that yourself, a lot of them now, just those bottle rockets just go off and they're in a little can type thing. And it's good to have. It's fun to do. But just be careful. I'm sure everybody's going to be having their cookouts and everything else, which is cool to do. Sit back, throw in a couple steaks on the Barbie, and have a good old time. So everybody just be careful. Let me see here. Oh, there I am. I'm back in the saddle again. Let me see. The moon. Oh, yeah. But I'm going to jump on off here, folks, just like everybody else is going to do here. I got to get something to eat myself and get ready for tomorrow as well. Hit the crib nice and early. And that's it, man. Go to work. Get out. Probably be a half a day. It won't be too bad. And then just relax for the weekend. Only get it's basically like a day and a half. Don't have a whole lot of time to do anything. And then we're just right back at these videos again. So, going to be rocking them. Moon as well as Mars. So, stay tuned for that. And, yeah. So, we'll be putting some on the moon because somebody just asked earlier, said something about, hey, you're going to put some on lunar anomalies and beyond as well as Mars. Yes. So, if you're not subscribed to it, just jump over to lunar anomalies and beyond and go ahead and subscribe to that channel. And, yeah. So we're going to do both of them because a lot of times if I get a lot of, like a really good photo that I think a lot of people should see. Now, I think everybody should see every photo, to be honest with you, every video I do. But some of them just like, wow, it's got to be put out. And what better place to do it is on Mars Anomalies because it has a lot more people to see it. And you want to expose it so everybody can see it, right? But anyway, so let me jump off this, folks. Everybody have themselves a great one. It's like 8:28. We'll do it to about 8:40 my time, of course. So another 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So we'll let everybody go. Be safe. Thank you everyone for your support. You're awesome, great people. I wish we could actually hang out in person. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? That would be pretty neat. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so on the way out. I would greatly appreciate it, and so would YouTube, so they'll help share it. So anyway, folks, have yourself a good one. Peace. Be safe this weekend. We'll talk to you soon.